Optical.
Yeah.
Bump the camera angle to the split wide. You have us in the narrow. It should be like the third one from the left. There we
This
go.
one. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
because you were out of frame because there's three of us.
Nice. Are we live? I think
We
we
are
are.
live.
Yeah.
All right. What's going on, guys?
What up? What up?
Nothing much. Celebrating America's birthday.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
Happy birthday, America. Sorry your party was so lame.
With all its problems, it's still the greatest country on earth.
Yep.
Yep. I agree. I only got
So,
two. Do you guys do anything fun today? Like the barbecue or something?
No, I
no,
just stay home.
we barbecued a little bit, but I'm not like a master chef or anything like that. So it wasn't too crazy.
All right. I thought you guys were gonna do like a get together, but it's kind of dangerous there now, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in San Antonio.
yeah.
You know, in hindsight, I think it was a pretty bad idea for us to get together for Rainer's birthday party. In hindsight.
What
So
was?
what's on the docket for tonight?
I always try to prepare everything, so nothing. I have
Wow.
no plans whatsoever.
I like to prepare, but not today.
Yeah.
Uh,
Why not?
my typical live stream is that when I feel like doing it.
Oh, nice.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, our After Darks. You've been on After Dark. We don't have any plans at all. We just
You just wing it.
just start talking. Like, what's going on? Like, what are you up to?
Yep. Yep.
I was gonna tell Zach. I was like, do you want to prepare a show sheet for tonight or something like that? But I was just like, I don't know if that's I don't know if we're gonna follow. So it's always just like, yeah, maybe we'll just do like a kind of like after dark sort of thing. So
Yeah.
so welcome, guys. Hey, introduce yourselves for those who who hasn't seen you before. I don't know who those guys are, but
Yeah. So I'm Zach. I am the host of Collecting Weekly. Oh, look at that. Danny Lee in the chat. Happy 4th of July, Optical and CW. $5.
Oh, wow. You donated
Man,
$5.
Danny
My
Lee.
God, Danny
I didn't even know
Lee.
you could do that on YouTube.
When you get 1,000 subs and you hit the watch tier marker, then you can do that.
Really?
what-
Okay.
yeah.
I had no idea. We're
Getting
so
close there,
good.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so my name is Zach. I am the host of Collecting Weekly, and 2.5 to 3 years ago, I started the podcast, and shortly thereafter, Dean joined me. So
He kept wanting to quit, and I was like, dude, whatever it takes, like, you have to keep going because I enjoyed it so much. He was like, it's hard to talk to yourself alone for more than 15 minutes or whatever because I like long format podcasts.
uh-huh.
And I was like, well, fuck it, I'll join you. And like he said, 2 or 3 years later, here we are.
Nice. So when did you guys started? Like 2017? Because I know the backstory, but for those who hasn't heard it,
Yeah, so we started the first time in 2017. I think we started both times in 2017.
It was right
And
after
then-
Rogue One, I believe.
Yeah, and then we really started taking it seriously in 2018. So I
Were you-
think maybe April, March, that was our 100th episode, something like that. Yeah, I mean it's been a little over 2 years that we've been taking it seriously.
were you guys like have a different podcast, or were you guys always together?
Yeah, so initially the first two iterations was just me by myself, and then shortly thereafter, with the first iteration, Dean would come on, I think, like once or twice of the first 10 episodes. The second one was also not so great, and then Dean would come on occasionally. But the third one, the first 4 episodes was by myself, and then the 5th episode, Dean came on. And it was a very after dark style episode because we were just hobbying, just sticking around, no show sheet. And from there, Manny, Jesse, Rainer joined, and we started taking it a little bit more seriously because back then it was really just a Google Notes sheet with like 5-6 things on it, and that was like the whole shtick, like once a week, 6 things. But now, I mean, our show sheets are like 2-3 pages long. I mean, it's we tend to talk about quite a bit per episode. So
Yeah, we end up cutting stuff on them like right before.
Yeah,
like,
pretty
hey,
regularly.
let's cut off here, save it for another time.
Nice. Do you guys like get together? Because for those who doesn't know, it's Tuesday. I know some of the schedule. I know Tuesday is your collecting weekly.
Yeah, so we have several shows on the network, I guess you'd call it. And so some are Tuesdays. Tuesdays our main show, and then we have Small Talk and Only Fools and Collecting that alternate Thursdays. Only Fools and Collecting is hosted out of England, so they record at 2 p.m. Central Time, which is 9 p.m. England time. And then we have shows like Collecting Rarities, Creeps Are Us, Wookiee of the Year. Those are kind of sprinkled throughout the month as they can get to them. And then Live and Let Dice is our Dungeons and Dragons show, and we do that we try to do it every other Sunday. But you know, it's a long stream. It's like usually anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. So for that, it does take a lot of planning, and sometimes we skip a slot. But yeah, I mean, we talk about toys mostly on our show, 6 scale, high end collectibles, and then we we also banter a lot on After Dark. After Dark is kind of our dick around stream, but we actually tend to have really genuine conversations on that stream. I know last stream I was telling these really crazy stories that happened to me with collecting, and that we say for our patrons. So after it goes live for everyone, we put it in behind the Patreon service. And then we with Creeps Are Us, it's a horror podcast, so it's like paranormal stuff that happened to us or happened to people that we know, or just stories in general. Wookiee of the Year is like a nerd lifestyle podcast, and then I have a show called Joy of Hobbying where I do different hobbying projects.
That's more of a video.
Yeah, that's not really so much a show; it's more like a video tutorial type thing. But yeah, I mean, it's grown. I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, I never thought it would be 3 a.m. and we'd have 15, 20 people watching us.
Yeah, the last episode
It's
went
crazy.
till what was it, 4 or 3 in the morning?
I think it was like 4 in the morning. It was
and we've been
3 or
streaming
4.
for 4 hours, and we're like, well, we'll probably kind of wind it down. And I was like, how many people are watching? I was like, there's still 15 people watching. I was like, why?
Yeah, because I planned it for just to be an hour.
Yeah,
Like I had mentioned, like, okay, we're at 50 minutes. Let's share one last story, and it ended up being like a 4-hour stream. So
yeah,
but yeah, Optical, thanks for having us. I'm really excited.
man,
to be
thanks
here
a lot.
Hey man, like I've been watching you guys for a while. Up until that, because you guys had one stream, and I've been just lurking around, and I finally joined in because I listen to you guys like when I'm doing something. So for anyone who's not familiar with collecting, you should be by now. By the way, guys, before I go to my story, do you guys have like a like on YouTube now? You can customize your name. It's kind of like YouTube/Collecting Weekly.
I think
or not
so.
yet.
Yeah, I think it does that.
Oh, it does that? Okay.
Yeah, it should be.
So I'm gonna put it on a ticker because I wasn't sure.
Let's check. Yeah, YouTube.com/Collecting Weekly.
Collecting Weekly. Okay, all right. I'm gonna edit that.
Thanks.
But yeah, so for those who are not familiar, they got different shows, guys. Like there's streams that are just focused on Star Wars or Marvel. They talk about everything. So, and there's everything for everyone. So if you're into horror or board games and all that stuff, you just pick whatever you want. If you're from Europe, you can the different time slot as well. So
that's true. The Only Fools and Collecting, they stream kind of midday for us here, but for them it's like the days are kind of
there's
down.
almost no one on that side of the world that live stream at that time. So they've been picking up a lot of traction on their show with a lot of people in like Australia and England that are watching them.
Yeah, it's really cool because they have a totally different perspective on like buying figures overseas, shipping figures, import taxes and stuff. So it's a really cool show to tune into because I'll learn something like, oh shit, like I'm glad I don't have to deal with that because that sucks.
Right, yeah, and also like we mentioned the time slot because I wanted to stream for the Filipino fans out there, but man, it's 12-hour difference, so I have to go online at around 6 or 7 in the morning, which I can't wake up.
Shit.
Yeah. Even if I could wake up, I don't think I have the energy to do a live stream at that point. So, because a lot of people like messaging me, hey, for international peeps. So that's why I kind of like did this mid ground, which is at 10 a.m. I guess in Brazil it's like 12 now or something. So you got to give up something. But it's nice that you guys have like different hosts for different expertise.
Yeah, and we actually just launched a comic show. first episode uploaded this week, collecting comics, and Sean hosts that show, and it's a really good show. I mean, I'm getting into comics a little bit. I know Dean is getting in as well.
Yeah, we all kind of dipped our toe at the same time. Well, Zach, you've been collecting comics.
Yeah, and so it's just a way for us to get the message out there about comics, and we have an expert that is going to share some tips and tricks. So, but yeah, it's definitely a fun little network. It really is.
Yeah, and the community that you built as well, like the following, it's tight knit, which is pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, we have a Facebook group. It's called Collecting Weekly Auxiliary. It's all you have to do is answer a few quick questions to join, and yeah, I mean, it started out kind of slow. We're at 250-ish people now, which is really great. And yeah, it's definitely one of those things where everyone knows everyone. So, it's a very positive community, and we kind of meme a lot, dick around, but at the end of the day, like when push comes to shove, like there's people that were looking for certain figures that we found, or just personal things that happen in our listeners' lives that we've been able to send them a nice message. Yeah. So it's a very fun community, and I really like it.
Speaking of community, we got like Mario. Shout out to Mario and Danny here. Marco as well. Hey, Marco, you got to add this Collecting Weekly guys. All right, you got to listen to them, man. It's
yeah,
awesome.
Marco, thanks, buddy.
Sweet Danny in the chat. Me and Danny got shafted this week.
Dude, that was dirty.
We were doing our After Dark, and Danny Lee and I were waiting for the same pre-order to come up, and it went up at 4 p.m. in Japan, which was like 3 a.m. here.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, hey, fuck it, we'll just keep the stream going until that happens, and like ends like the show right there. And then the second it hit 4 p.m. over there, every site crashed. You couldn't get through, and both Danny and I got shafted. We didn't get our pre-order. And so it was like an
awful.
extra like 35 minutes of us like scrambling to find the pre-order, and we just couldn't do it. It sucked so bad.
So you missed it completely, or
completely?
Yeah.
And this is like one of those things that retails for $180, but if you didn't get it, you're going to be paying $400 for it.
Jeez.
So yeah, we're pretty bums, but I have some feelers out there to try and track it down. So we'll see how it goes. But
yeah,
I can't believe that it's Zach and I talk about this all the time. Like, it's 2020. Like, you should expect your websites to have high traffic at certain times, and the fact that you're not preparing for it is insane.
Yeah, I think you talked about that on After Dark. I was kind of listening to that. I was like half awake. Your last After Dark, is it like the Funko Pop or something?
Yeah,
yeah. All right, yeah.
Manny was trying to get the Dwight Funko Pop, and it happened again. And it's like, dude, that was like a week ago. And these websites, I guess, just underestimate how much people want these things. So,
were you guys collecting long enough that happened to be before in Hot Toys, like on Midas, the first Midas, that they would crash? And those were the days when you don't pre-order, you actually don't get the figure.
Yeah,
you guys remember those? Yeah, those were the days. Now, it rarely happens. I don't remember any Hot Toys that was up on pre-order that sells out.
Yeah, and that's what kind of shocked me, because the pre-order went up and it was like, oh, it comes out in November, which, it's just a few months away. And I was like, well, shouldn't it be like a year away? And Zach made fun of me like, oh, you want to wait a year? And I was like, well, isn't that normal? And I was like, oh, no, I guess that's a Hot Toys thing. Which I kind of wish it was, because that means, the pre-order window would have been open a lot longer. So I don't know. It just sucks, dude.
Dude, Dean, you collect pretty much everything, though, right?
I collect a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Damn. Do you have like a specific one where you're just like 1/6, or what, or do you just whatever?
I have a lot of 1/6 figures, but a lot of the stuff I like don't make figures in that scale. I'm lucky that majority of my collection is Star Wars, so but I tried to focus it on just A New Hope stuff, because if not, I'll buy every figure under the sun, right? But a lot of the other stuff I collect is like Robotech, which is giant robots, so the scales are real small.
Yeah.
Or like Final Fantasy figures. I love Final Fantasy, so they're more like 10-inch scale. I don't know what that is. Maybe like 1/8,
Yeah,
right?
that's a weird scale, 10 inch.
Yeah. So I also love 3 3/4 in Star Wars, but like I said, most of my stuff is Star Wars. So you see my AT-AT right here.
Yeah.
Right
So
there.
do you display all of them though? Because I know you buy what, like maybe more than once a week, right?
I try and get a figure every week because on our show we have a segment called New This Week. Because when we first started the show, it was like that's what we would do anyway, and I was like, well, shouldn't we just make this a segment? Because we're always constantly like getting something. Um, so I always try and have something new for the show. But I don't just buy things to buy them. But yeah, I kind of just have everything displayed. I live by myself, so I
That's
could
nice.
put whatever I want wherever I want, and it's not a problem to anybody.
I know Zach. Zach, you buy everything too, right? You have no like specific scale that you stick into or anything like that.
I would say I'm primarily a 6 scale collector, but I mean I
Not
collect
anymore,
Transformer.
my
Yeah,
guy.
not anymore. Transformers,
Dude.
uh, statues a little bit, sprinkling into some figure arts, and then NECA 18-inch figures, some Funko Pops, some Lego,
Yeah. Oh man, I
art
love
prints. Yeah, just
figure
a little bit
arts.
of everything.
Is
Dragon
there
Ball Z
any
figure arts are my kryptonite.
is there anything that you guys won't absolutely buy? It's like, nope, not gonna dip into that or something like that.
I try not to get too into the Funko hype, but I mean, there's a few that I've gotten.
Yeah.
I'm not too keen on 3 3/4 scale personally. I know Dean's really a big fan of it, but
I just like army building. I don't buy
yeah,
every character, but it's like I'll buy 15 stormtroopers. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, I don't know. It's just the scale is just a little weird for me. Uh, I try not to get too much Lego stuff. I have one Lego piece that my parents got me, and I do like Lego, but I always tend to buy a lot of it because it's not cheap. But I mean, relatively speaking, I mean you could buy like a few sets. But no, really, I mean, like I collect, like in Dragon Ball, for example, there's older figures that work really well with the new figures, and then there's cheaper figures that mesh really well with the expensive figures. And even in 6 scale, I mean, there's sometimes you can find a really nice budget option for your collection. So I'm not like a Hot Toys fanboy or like a Sideshow fanboy. I kind of just collect pretty much whatever. And I'm kind of freaking out because I have like 4 or 5 figures coming in from TNS in the next few months. And I have no idea where I'm going to put those things. So it's going to be a very
I'll probably
interesting.
end up buying them.
Yeah, because I have
Hmm.
Django, Spider Gwen,
Okay.
K, the full battle suit, young Rich Miles Morales coming in, and then I also have the Joker coming in. So that's
Dang. That's a
Yeah.
5
lot.
figures. I mean, I've already paid off most of those, like with their monthly installment option, but like Joker, I'm gonna put next to Batman, so that's pretty easy. And then Spider Gwen with Miles, Django. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to put him next to the Rocketeer, but that's a weird
You
set
could
of
do like
figures.
a movie corner and have the Rocketeer K and Django.
Yeah, but with this shelf, I could really only fit 2 figures per shelf.
Okay,
You
because
know?
then you have what's her name right above it? She's from a movie.
Yeah, and I also have Terminator also, and I just don't even know if I'm gonna keep that figure or what. So it's gonna be like a real uh
Yeah,
testy few
you said
months.
testy.
But it's just like it's gonna just test what space I have and how I can display it, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Because all those
Yeah.
figures I'm really excited for. So
Are they all 1/6, Zach?
those are all 1/6, yeah.
Yeah.
This
That's
is Han
for
Solo.
And once I get the Gwen, then I'm just like, where am I gonna put the advanced suit Spider-Man? I'm gonna have to make like a custom display that can fit all 3. So I just don't even know what's gonna happen.
Have you guys ever thought of like sticking to one line, like Star Wars or just Marvel?
No, because for me personally, and like lines tend to have ebbs and flows. So I think right now, Marvel, once the next whatever movie comes out, I think it's gonna be a build up period. So like everything we just watched in the MCU was building up to Endgame. And so now they have to kind of rebuild the hype. So there's gonna be a lot of movies with new characters and figures, and I think that's gonna trend downwards for a little bit. And then with Star Wars, same thing. I mean, it's like if you just focus on one line, you're gonna have periods of time where there's not a lot going on. So
Yeah.
I tend to just collect everything that I like, and that way I always have something to purchase or something to display. Uh, you know, so I don't personally stick to one line.
Yeah, I pretty much stopped collecting like with Marvel stuff. I pretty much have every character that I like. Um, and then with Star Wars, like I said, I try to stick to just A New Hope. I have like Boba Fett and like a couple Rogue One figures, but I try to like really limit myself on especially 6 scale Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I talk about it all the time on our show, but Zach got me back into Robotech,
Horde.
and yeah, real hard. And I find it real fun to, I guess, play catch up on such an old. It's almost like Transformers, right? It's been
Yeah.
around forever. There's like the figures to get, and there's like cheaper lines, and it's really fun playing catch up with something like that while you're not focusing on the big stuff like Star Wars and
Yeah.
Marvel. But like Zach said, they're on like a downward trend. Like there's no movies coming out. There's real no hype. So I'm just waiting for like the Mandalorian, which I have pretty much already paid off, and then
Yeah.
Commander Cody. And those are like the only pre-orders I ever did. So, and those got pushed back. So
I try that. I try to just sticking to one line. It becomes really boring. So I don't know how people can do that. Honestly,
yeah,
it's kind of like you're limiting yourself because there's so many good releases on other lines that if you're just like I like DC, but like I did that with Dark Knight. I bought all Dark Knight and it stopped. So that means you're done.
yeah. I bought a armored Batman from Zach a while back, and for the longest time, he's kind of like the only Batman I've ever really liked, and two, the only like DC character I really gave any kind of shit about. And for the longest time, he was on my shelf, and I was just like, it's so boring just having Batman. And luckily, the Wonder Woman movie was so good that I was like, well, like I could justify getting a Wonder Woman. So I did that, and it's just them two on the shelf, and I'm like, I guess like.
So do you guys have like a method to this? Like if before you buy a toy, are you thinking it was like, all right, this would be good for the show, or like I'm gonna buy this because it's not available in 1/6, or any methods like that?
I've never bought a figure, with the exception of like a giveaway figure, specifically for the show. I mean, I think I'm a collector before I'm a podcaster. So the things that I buy and the decisions that I make, I'm rarely thinking like, oh, what is the show gonna think? Because there's times like you buy something and it just doesn't vibe with your collection and you just don't like it. You have to sell it, and I know people tend to always roast anyone that does that. I mean, there's certain things like the Rex. It's in 1/10 scale. As much as I'd love a 6 scale Rex, I just think that it's never going to happen, and it's probably going to be crazy expensive if it was ever to come out in 6 scale. I know Chronicle released a 5th scale that was $5,000, and that's way more money than I'd want to spend.
Jesus.
And it's also a scale larger than what I'd want. So 10th scale seemed to be the biggest combination of like the max size that I could display and the most money I wanted to spend for something like that. I mean, in the back there with the Miles Morales quarter scale, like that's a scale that I don't really collect that much stuff in. But it was just a really cool pose, a really good price, and I mean, it ended up just working out with some credit that I had from another shop. So, I mean, I don't really. I mean, like Maleficent, like I don't have any other figure that can go with that. So, I mean, she just kind of has a shelf on her own, and I just thought it was a great movie, and I've wanted the figure for like 2 years, and I finally found a good deal on it. So, um, I would say the only line that I really do that with is Dragon Ball because my space is so limited. So whenever I buy a new figure, like I have to have, but I have 4 shelves that I can put it on, and if it doesn't fit, like I just won't buy it. So.
I've definitely bought stuff for the show, but it was something I already wanted, so it just like pushed me over. Like, well, I kind of need it for the show anyway because we need content, so I'll just buy it anyway. But like I said, it's something I originally wanted, so it's just easier to make the decision.
And I think that's what makes you guys so relatable as well. Because when I was listening to your podcast, because you're gonna tackle it to different areas, I guess that's why I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna mention the other podcasts that I go to, but if I don't enjoy one segment of, let's say you're talking about this, I know in like 10, 15 minutes, you guys are gonna talk about something else. So I guess that's what makes, I guess, your entire show more relatable to more collectors, because like Zach bought Maleficent, which is, you can't really pair that with anyone, even with the Crow. But a lot, like, because of that, I kind of want to pick up Maleficent now because I found a
Dude,
really good price.
It's so good.
cool.
Oh, is
Dean
it?
saw it, he was really impressed.
I've wanted one for a long time too, but like Zach said, the prices on them are kind of crazy. But Zach and I have this weird thing where I usually end up owning his figures anyway.
So you're just gonna wait?
Yeah, and if I never get it, it's fine because I could go look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like they're not gonna do that again. I feel like this Maleficent or the Crow or something like that.
Yeah, because the second movie already came out and they didn't do anything for that. Which,
Yeah.
I guess maybe that figure didn't take off until after it sold out. Maybe, because if it was a successful figure for the first movie, it kind of seems like a no-brainer they would make a second one.
Right. I don't think it took off completely because I found one, but again, they're in the Philippines. They're shopping in the Philippines. They're selling it for like $170.
Oh,
So
wow.
I told my cousin, go get it and I'll ship it to me. So
That's pretty badass.
yeah, and
So you did get it?
I did. Yeah, he did get it.
Nice, cool.
I don't know when I'm gonna get it because of the Corona and all that stuff.
Right,
So,
yeah.
but
Yeah, we had a buddy today. He was gonna buy. He really wanted Baby Doll from Sucker Punch,
yeah,
which is a fantastic figure. I ended up getting it a few years ago, and he found one with the other figure from that movie. So both figures for $300, which is a pretty good deal, because Baby Doll could go anywhere from $3 to $5 by herself on the secondhand market. But the guy who he bought it from was in, where was he from, Zach? Hong Kong?
Yeah, from Hong Kong.
Yeah, so the shipping, if he wanted to ship DHL, it's 2 Hot Toys boxes. So the shipping was quite a bit extra. And he was like, I don't know if I want to pay that. And I was like, well,
Yep.
either that or wait forever, have that guy sit on your money until he could ship it, which I'm uncomfortable doing.
I know.
Yeah, because you guys thought it was a scam, but I'm like, no, I don't know if it's a 130, but I mean, to ship private company like that is pretty expensive. Because on Ami, I put an order in for Miles Morales, and it was like almost $40 to ship it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. My shipping wasn't that high because I also put in an order to Ami around the same time, literally like the next day as Zach, and my shipping was only like $25.
Well, speaking of Maleficent, what do you guys think about that? The Hot Toys announcement for their toy fair, the 2020.
Weak, dude.
I know. I segued it to Maleficent because if you look at the lineup, it's all Marvel, so it's safe.
Yeah, and it's also
safe.
like, not only is it safe, but it's also just like boring, which I guess is the same thing. Because it's just like, well, I mean, we have other Stan Lees.
Yeah.
So if you really loved Ragnarok, I guess it's cool. But I think the spacesuit Stanley is a cooler movie, get up, and he's still for sale, I think, on Sideshow.
He is, yeah.
And then the Mark IV, I was like, if you're gonna do that with a Iron Man suit, why the Mark IV? Like, it's such a boring suit; it doesn't really do anything. But I guess every other suit has gotten a re-release, so they're like, "Fuck it, we'll do the Mark IV."
Didn't they do like a Tron for Mark IV too? Like the
No, that was the Mark VI.
Oh, Mark VI. Okay.
Yeah, the Neon Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did the Mark VI and the War Machine Mark One. Let's see. What were the other two figures? See,
We got the Spider-Man.
Oh, the 2099. Yeah, that's cool, but
Yeah.
I don't like that character enough to like want to buy it.
Yeah.
Um,
And then they got Whiplash.
Whiplash, and that's another re-release. They've already done that figure.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how true the photos are to the final product, but his pants aren't the right color. They're brown instead of orange.
Yeah. Somebody on I put a video out of. He said that they got licensing issues for the pants, like for the racetracks. So that's why they removed the patches and the orange. I don't know how true that is, but it's not. Isn't orange just a color? How can you get?
I thought it was this prison uniform, but maybe
Yeah,
it is a. Maybe it is a
Yeah, well, he dressed up in the outfit from the track.
Oh, you're
He
right.
took
So
an
you could get
outfit.
around the gates and stuff. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
I
guys
don't
hearing
know.
a audio interference issue? Is that from me or is that
It's a
from?
little crackly.
I'm gonna mute myself. Tell me if it keeps going.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it still going?
Optical, try muting yourself.
I'm not hearing it.
Okay, optical, unmute yourself.
It's probably the AC.
No, it's actual interference.
Yeah, it's like a.
Hold on.
It might be your Wi-Fi router or something.
Oh.
It's okay. It seems to have stopped. I just want to make sure it wasn't me. So I was like turning my camera off and unplugging everything. And okay, cool. We're good to go.
Dude,
Yeah,
the
the
Clipper
is
King in the
chat.
house.
What's up, Uncle Clipper? Dude,
Uncle
I love
Clipper.
the guy's reviews.
Dude. I said it over and over. Uncle Clipper is one of my favorite reviewer. Yep. It's just
That's
OG,
hilarious.
man. He's OG.
I guess they would turn orange if you bleached them.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to time it like.
Yeah, you have to hit it right
Really?
when it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Imagine that. I would be scared to do that, but
I
yeah.
bleached something the other day. It wasn't too bad. But yeah, I was like doing it. I've never bleached something before. And I was trying to turn something gray to white. And I was like, Victoria, I think I fucked up because it's orange. She's like, no, it needs to go through like the different phases.
Stages.
And yeah, sure enough, it turned out white. But yeah, immediately I was like, fuck. You go
What
buy
have I
another one.
done?
It's like I could have settled with gray, but now it's fucking orange.
430. Where's the Clipper King at?
It's in the UK,
in the
UK
UK.
Clipper King. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's like, dang.
Isn't
Yeah,
that D Night in UK too?
Yeah, D Knight's United Kingdom. Y'all hear Kanye West is running for president?
Is it true?
He tweeted it, and Kim K retweeted it, and Elon Musk said, you have my support."
Hey man, that's a Chicago guy right there. So no, I'm
Dude.
not. I don't care if it's Chicago or
Dude, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
I mean,
it's like
he
you
said he
can't.
was running for president like 2 years ago, didn't he?
He said after Trump's second term.
Yeah, but he said 2020. I'm gonna run.
Did he?
Yeah.
I thought he said 2024.
No,
I could
he
be
said
wrong.
2020.
Who's gonna his face again against The Rock or something?
The Donald
No,
Okay.
I don't think The Rock can be president.
racist.
No,
No, I'm just kidding.
no, I don't. Isn't he Samoan? Or I guess Samoa is part of the United States, isn't it?
We
I
don't
don't
know that
know.
much about politics.
Yeah.
Countries. Where was The Rock born? The Rock was born in Hayward, California.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
For some reason I thought he was like actually Samoan.
Yo, actually, okay, so I didn't mean to bring politics. I'm sorry, but can we talk about this? So, I saw this post today on a Facebook group, right? And this guy was looking for the NECA Casey Jones, Raphael 2-pack, right?
Oh yes,
And
this is
he
good.
was like, I went there, and the employee, I guess they had the sticker on the shelf of where they should have been, but there was nothing there. And he's like, the employee just didn't give me the time of day, and they didn't care. And I asked them to check the back for the stock room, and they refused. And the guy was like going on this rant on this Facebook group about that, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's in really bad taste currently. I mean, these people are getting paid, really not a lot of money to be
put their
putting
lives on the
themselves, I mean, literally putting their lives on the line. I mean, Dean, at your at an HEB in San Antonio, I mean, we know there's numerous employees that have tested positive. I mean, in I imagine at Walmart it's the same. And so to roast like an employee for not helping you find a toy in the middle of their probably super long shift that they're risking their life to be there, I think it's just like bad form. And the guy's like, this guy probably scalping it. He's
He
probably
probably
holding it in the
bought them
back.
for himself. And
But it's like, even if he was, which I doubt, who cares? Like, let the guy win a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But also, I mean, it's just I just think it's bad form. Like these people, they're not all in the toy section. I mean, he might have 100 different responsibilities in the store, and maybe managing one part of toys is one of them. But not every employee at Walmart knows every single. I mean, they have hundreds of thousands of items at that store. So when you walk into a Walmart and you know that you want this one toy, not every employee there is like an expert on that particular toy.
oh, for sure. Which is why you see figure swaps in boxes constantly.
Yeah.
Like with like Marvel Legends, it's like
Legends.
Iron Man, and it's like an old like
Power Ranger.
yeah,
Mm.
and it's like the person at the average person doesn't know what the fuck it's supposed to look like. They just think,
Yeah.
okay, there's a toy, I'm gonna return it. They don't know.
Yeah. Jason says, what is bad form is exclusives. I don't feel that way either. I mean, these people, I mean, I always felt like if you're an employee at any store, you should get first dibs. That's probably controversial, but that's how especially now, given how dangerous it is in San Antonio to be around that number of people.
That's one of the benefits. I used to work retail, and
yeah, you get first dibs.
you got first dibs. That's just how it works. And
Yeah.
To blast an employee for a toy nowadays, I mean,
Yeah, it's like, bro, why are you toy hunting? It's like literally only for essential errands. You're not supposed to fucking hit up 20 Walmart.
If it's that big a deal, get a job there.
Yep.
Well, when the corona first hit, I work at a grocery store, and they changed the store hours. Instead of 6 to midnight, it was 8 to 8. And if you're an employee, you could come in at 6 or shop after 8, because that's when they're restocking. So you could either get it like right when the store opens and like all the fresh items are out, like toilet paper, hand sanitizer, whatever, or you could wait till the end of the day when they're going to put it on the shelf again when there's no customers in the store. So it's like that's what happens.
That.
When you work at the place providing the shit, you get first dibs.
Yeah, and I saw plenty of posts back then of people shitting on HEB employees like, oh, I just saw this person wearing a partner uniform walking out with toilet paper and hand sanitizer. And it's like, yeah, but that person also just worked 10 hours to provide you a means to buy groceries and put food on your table. You know what I mean?
And possibly put themselves in harm's way.
Yeah, and a number of employees have at any store have become ill. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. That really rubbed me the wrong way. I think it's gonna be my grinds my gears for Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It seemed odd. I was like, what is this guy arguing about?
Yeah, it's like, dude, come on.
Like I legit like read it like 3 times. I was like, what's his point? Like I don't know what.
But the thing also is like a lot of these people use BrickSeek, which is like a way to track inventory. But BrickSeek isn't instant. Like if someone has bought something, just because it says it's a one quantity available, doesn't mean there's one on the shelf that you can pick up and purchase. It could be in someone's cart. It could be stashed away that someone has it hidden. It could be in the back. It could be an employee has it stashed in the back. It could be already purchased and walked out the door, but you don't know because the stock doesn't update every second of every day. So I think BrickSeek is a really powerful tool for collectors, but I think there's nothing worse than when I used to see this all the time when Target used to use BrickSeek, when people would bitch out employees because of a BrickSeek showing an item was in stock and there was nothing on the shelf. I think it's awful.
Yeah, and I know for the Black Series, I don't know if they fixed this, but when I would hunt Star Wars the Black Series a lot, they all have the exact same
DPCI.
UPC.
Yeah, it's called a wave assortment.
Yeah, and so it's like, look, it says it's in stock, but it's really Kylo Ren's not in stock. They have 10 Rays. So you're looking for this, and it says it's in stock, but it's really not. So that's also another reason not to use that.
Yeah,
You know what sucks is that this employees doesn't get, you know, it's nice that we praise the doctors and the healthcare workers, but these guys are in the same category.
Yeah, retail workers. Oh,
Yeah, I mean they're more exposed to people every day, and
yeah, even more so. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, so I'm kind of glad that the shit I collect, I pretty much have to buy online. Because going in the store hunting, like, it can be fun. I used to love. I used to leave my house at 2 a.m. and our city is a giant circle, and I would hit the north side and go all the way down to the south side and hit every single Walmart. And it would take me all morning, dude. I would get home at like 6. And I did that a couple times with our buddy Rainer, and it's a lot of fun, but you coming up empty-handed is almost guaranteed. Because there's people like me doing the exact same thing. So I may get to the store after they had been there, and I didn't get anything anyway.
Dude, I will never forget when I stole that figure from the cart at Walmart.
Oh, dude.
oh yeah, I
Dean
heard that story.
Dean was looking for this Mattel Baby Yoda, which one of them I have back
He's
there.
right here.
Oh, there you go. And
Right here.
it was a Thursday, and Thursdays I get off, and it was like 3:15, and I had seen someone put a store report like at 8 that there was 4, and I was like, there's probably not going to be any, but I'll stop on the way there before I get my kid. And I go into the aisle, I see nothing, and I walk towards the back of the aisle, which is right next to the restrooms. There's a cart with some food and a Baby Yoda. Probably the person whose cart that was taking a shit. Probably. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm here. I'm risking the Rona. I'm going to get my boy this Baby Yoda. If it was anybody else that needed the Baby Yoda, I'd be like, probably not.
Yeah.
Dude, I got that Baby Yoda and fucking sprinted. I was like Usain Bolt sprinting out of that.
I could hear his footsteps, and he was out of breath. And then I heard his door shut and his car start, and he was like, I gotta go.
It's like the fucking Walmart security. Dude, and the worst part is I had this because I was going to buy like some groceries, but I just totally like hauled ass out of there. So I had an actual cart with me, and I had one of those carts like when you grab it and has the squeaky wheel. But you can't be that guy during the Rona and put the clean cart back in the clean cart line. You just have to fucking take what you get, right?
Yeah.
And it was like this squeaky ass wheel that just wouldn't spin, just making all this noise as I was running out of the store, dude. People probably thought I stole that Baby Yoda. It was wild.
Technically did, we think.
I don't know. I mean, no one, they hadn't paid for it yet, so I mean, it's free game as far as I'm. If you gotta take a dookie at Walmart, I mean, if your cart gets fucking.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be expecting that, kind of, right?
Yeah, they should have fucking hid the cart somewhere else.
Yeah, or put the meat or the groceries.
Yeah. Hide the Baby Yoda, or put that shit in.
It really was like the hottest item at the time.
I like how you flipped it guys around and made it the person's fault now. That
yeah, that's what you gotta do, man. You got a victim blame.
Yeah, that's what I do, man.
Danny Lee said some kid was denied a Baby Yoda.
Hey,
that kid has cancer too, so I'm no worries.
Oh my god!
Wow.
It was for my mom, so I don't feel that bad.
Yeah, I don't feel that bad at all.
I will get my mom anything before anyone else. So
yeah,
if you were like, "Here's a biscuit. Do you want your mom to eat it or the starving kid?" I'd be like, "I'm gonna give it to my mom." Like,
yeah,
she only birthed me.
Yeah, right. I love this figure. I got it from a guy. I do feel a little bad. Dean had put, "Does anyone have these figures for sale?" And this guy was like, "Yeah, I have like these 15 figures." And Dean in the post was like, "I need these 4, 5, 6 figures." And this one wasn't on the list. And I knew Dean wasn't going to be up for like it was 10 a.m. the guy posted or something.
Yeah,
I knew Dean wasn't going to be up to like 2 or 3. And it's a figure that will go fast. Like it was priced to move. And I picked up this Jack Pacific Master Roshi, and it was in really bad shape.
Damn.
Maybe it's Irwin. It was in really bad shape. So I look at that. Mario says Danny's avatar is so sexy. I need to shower. Same. Get a little hot. Anyways,
It's
so
wrong that I feel dirty right now.
last night I did some repainting on the pants, painted the shoes black because they were like this weird blue color, which made no sense.
Were his pants purple? I don't remember them being purple.
So,
Or they were like really faded.
yeah, the toy was purple, so I repainted them a darker purple.
Okay.
But in the anime, in some screen like video recordings, it's blue, and in others it's purple.
I just meant the figure.
Yeah,
I'm not picky on screen accuracy. I mean, I guess technically I am, but
yeah, but I'm so like amazed by this figure, and I kind of want to take the head off and get a World Collectible figure, and put the head on and see if it works. Because I feel like the head's a little small.
yeah, it's a cool figure though.
But dude, he's fucking yoked, dude. This is like one of the greatest anime moments of all time.
Dude, you should put. Oh, you know what I watched the other day, Zach? The World's
What's that?
Strongest, where they mistake Master Roshi as the world's strongest fighter, and they bring him to the.
The World's Strongest. Is that the movie?
That's the movie.
Is that the one with Super Saiyan Vegito?
No, the World's Strongest is like.
I know which. I've seen that movie, but I'm trying to remember which one it was.
I want to say it's.
That's not the one where they do the fighting tournament on the island, right?
No.
Let me see. That's the one with BoJack.
The World's Strongest is the one with.
Where did you watch it at?
Doctor on YouTube. Oh, it was the abridged one.
Oh, okay.
Doctor
Cochin.
No.
I'm watching. I'm reading there now. It says Dr. Cochin. Dr. Wheelo.
Yeah, he's the big brain in the machine. But anyway, they're looking for the world's strongest fighter so they could put Dr. whatever's name in their body.
Mhm.
And they mistakenly grabbed Master Roshi because he was the strongest. But this is like after the what? It's like right before the Frieza saga, I guess. No, because Goku's back. I don't know when it takes place. Again, those movies aren't like canon.
Mhm.
But Master Roshi does it. He gets fucking ripped and kicks a bunch of ass before.
Can you send me that link?
Yeah.
Austin says, if you guys died tomorrow, who would get your collection? First off, Austin, please don't ever put that juju on me. I'd like you to knock on wood in person and in the chat. If/when I die, hopefully not tomorrow, hopefully in a very long time. We have this chat with Dean and Manny and Rainer and Eric, and we've like parsed out before the Rona happened, but we've said like everyone can claim one figure, and
I said Rainer can divvy out my figures and then help my mom and sister like price the other ones.
Yeah, and then for me, outside of those initial offerings to the guys, there's some that I'd like my wife to keep, some that I'd like my kid to have, and then the other ones like that I don't care about. They could just sell them to whomever. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, I try not to. I get real anxious thinking about death, especially now. So I try not to dwell on that too often. But hopefully that answers your question, Austin.
Yeah, I try not to die. That's not in my immediate plans. And
with my wealth and the advances in medical science, there ain't no way I can't live to be 100, 150.
Dude.
Yeah, so speaking of which, it's kind of crazy. So obviously this just happened, so I mean, I guess you don't know, but there's a flea market in San Antonio, right? And one of this vendors said the owner of the flea market tested positive, and a few of the vendors had as well from being in contact with the owner, right? And that he was going to get tested. Now there's a collector that had hung out with this gentleman, and I will preface this with the vendor has no symptoms and this other person has no symptoms at present time. But I met up with that collector to give him the Michael Myers mask that we gave away from our channel for about 10 seconds, right? Both of us had masks, gave him the prize, well, like face mask, gave him the mask that he won, got in the car, sanitized, in and out in like less than 15 seconds, right? But part of me is like freaking out because, again, it's 3 layers of transmission and the other 2 before me have no symptoms, but our city is starting to get to that point where almost everyone knows someone that's sick or has hung out with someone that has been sick. And it's very scary because, I mean, and it's funny because when I met with that guy, right when I got out of the car, I had this sneeze that was like, you can feel it, right?
Yeah.
And because of coronavirus, like you don't want to sneeze in front of someone because
Yeah,
then
'cause they're gonna
everyone says like
freak out.
coronavirus. So I was like, I'm gonna hold this sneeze in.
Yeah.
And so what I tend to do, and it's bad, but like I'll meet with someone and I'll talk for a few minutes. But because I had to sneeze, I only met with this guy for like legit 10 seconds. I was like, hey, here you go. I gotta get going. I gotta go get my kid. Thanks, bye. And that sneeze could have potentially saved my life from the Rona. Because again, normally I do sit and talk, and I know there's certain like risk factors of just meeting someone that has COVID, and they decrease if both parties have masks, but they can also increase if you're talking for 10 minutes versus 5 seconds. And so I was like really thankful that I had a sneeze coming on, because I mean it's just scary, man. Optical, is my signed photo somewhere put up in your collection?
It's somewhere there. Yeah, it's in the back. You can't just.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's
I'm
stuck in
glad.
there.
Did you like it? That was my Animal Crossing avatar.
Is it? Yeah, because I don't play Animal Crossing, so I was like, oh, this is cute. I thought it was just your studio or something.
Yeah, that's my digital studio in Animal Crossing.
Okay, nice.
We do digital podcasts as well. So Mario says, I'll send you mine, Danny, after Zach fixes the sculpt. What sculpt are we talking about? Oh, yeah, the TFA Chewy. I don't know, man. That's a hard project, man. I don't know if that's... I'm still thinking
surgery.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally figure surgery.
Surgery.
Actually, Danny, I did some work on Danny's head sculpt today. I attached the head to the neck with that 2-part mold putty, and I got to check it. I left it there for a few hours, so it should be set. But yeah, that stuff is absolute gold. Optical. If you ever get into customizing, this 2-part mold putty is God's gift to Earth. It's
Dude,
fantastic.
it's fantastic. In fact, Optical, didn't you say you really like the Star Ace Leonidas? Was that you?
Yeah, I was watching one of your you replaced the body, right?
Yeah, I did a Phison swab on it.
Yeah.
And that 2-part mold putty like saved my life.
What part did you use it on? The head?
The head, yeah. And the
Dude,
feet.
it's good to over Dremel and then use the mold putty. It's always really good.
Yeah, I was trying to get it just so it'd be snug. And then like an idiot, I overdid it, and I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna overdo it and just use the mold putty. So
yeah, so that's why I was telling you wanted to use a drill bit, because you can, with the drill bit, like the holes will only be that diameter.
Yeah.
Whereas a Dremel, like the bit might be a certain diameter, but the Dremel is designed to make that increasingly larger as you go. So
yeah,
that's what I was telling you. You might want to wait to get the drill bit, but I mean, I think if it's hard plastic, you can fix it with hot glue or the mold putty. I think you.
So with the Han Solo head, when I used the Dremel, it was like it would shave off like a powder.
Yeah, that's normal.
With the Leonidas head, it was just like the plastic got all melty, and I had to like dig it out.
Yeah, so that's the difference between like
resin,
a plastic and like a resin. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Different materials remove differently. Like you said, sometimes they'll melt, and sometimes they'll powder. And yeah, the big thing is not getting your bits too hot. But I mean, you are creating friction.
Fantastic though.
That is nice.
It really looks good, dude.
Yeah,
it's nice, like saying I did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of like, yeah, I had to take this over to Zach's and he did it.
So
that is true.
Does it matches the skin tone from the face to the body with Leonidas?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see on stream, but
I think it meant for Leonidas, Dean.
Oh, Leonidas? Yeah, I think it looks great. The hands, I could not get the hands to match. And it didn't even matter if I used the hands that came with the Phison. It's just like I can't get the hands. I'm gonna have to use maybe like something from like maybe my Thor figure or something.
But yeah, I mean, always a really weird tone.
Yeah, it also doesn't hurt. He's got a beard and then a helmet, so really the skin you really don't see all that much in the shadow. But dude, it was. I mean, really, it was a pretty easy swap. I thought it was going to be really hard.
How's your leather work going?
You know what, dude? I haven't even started.
Nice. Optical, what do you guys got planned for tomorrow?
For tomorrow, nothing. I got some figures coming up next week, so I'm preparing for that. I finally got some new ones because they're really slow, man, like in sideshow and shit. So but we'll see. Speaking of figures, I don't know if Clipper King is still around, but did you guys see the Blitzway? What's that figure?
Jimi Hendrix.
Hendrix. There you go. Yeah, it reminds me of Clipper because I know he reviewed. It's like a custom Jimi Hendrix before from Sarang, and it was like $2,000, and I think it was sent to him, and he just destroyed it. Like he said, like it's not worth it. I don't think any figure is worth $2,000 to begin with. But the one on Blitzway looks really good.
Yeah, dude, the Jimi Hendrix looks crazy good.
It's expensive though. It's like what, $300?
300, yeah.
Dude, that's way too much. I mean, I get it, but that's way too much, dude.
Danny, it is the smirking head sculpt. Yes. Austin, we actually do I mean, I don't know if you're in San Antonio like we are, but we do every once in a while
quarterly meetings.
Yeah, would do meetups and people would buy, sell, trade there. And that's like people would bring their figures to show off, and then sometimes they bring a figure to sell. Maybe set up the deal beforehand, and then we would eat pizza. We did a raffle, twice?
3 times.
3 times. And then we did the podcast live. It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, basically like we would set up, and now it's better because we have the 4 mic set up, and we can even expand it to 6. But yeah, we would do live recordings with people, and yeah, it was always really fun. It almost makes me want to do. I'm trying to find the graphic, Dean. If we can stay on this topic.
In Kentucky, right? That's Kentucky.
Yeah.
Maybe on a convention or something once this coronavirus is done.
I know, dude.
Do this collecting weekly convention. That'd be fun. I'm trying to find that graphic. We had this great idea. We haven't done it yet. I don't know if we can do it or how we can do it, but I'll drop a little nugget here on Optical's show. But we had this great idea. Here it is right here, to do live auctions on Ox and call them auctions.
Nice.
That was a graphic that we made, and we were gonna do like a live stream like this, where people could, we would basically host the auction, and it would be like a live bid. Let's say Danny had a figure, Mario had a figure, and it would just be like a matter of, just a live auction,
kind of like the way Alfred does it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's actually what inspired that. So
now that I've seen it, because I remember I was not against it, but I was like, I don't know how.
But you had never seen the format.
Yeah. Now that I know how it works, I think that's great.
Yeah. So maybe that's something that we'll put up some discussion on Ox if we want to do that. It could even only be like 5 figures, and we just do it during an after dark, and that way, if no one's bidding, it's not a waste of time for everybody. But yeah, Mario says after the Rona we can all hit the road to SA. That'd be fucking dope.
I know. We kind of wanted to maybe do like a day trip to Cali.
Well, I'd rather them come to me, Dean. I don't like to travel.
No, I know. If I get a truck though, I'm gonna be all over the place, dude.
Dude, I'm so excited for you. Dean's at that point where I think his accident stuff might be resolved soon, and that's going to be really nice because it's been a long time. It's been since November
12th, the day Mandalorian came out.
Oh, dude, that was such a fucking bummer of a day. My pizza got stolen. Dean got into a car accident. Just a bad day all around.
Damn, November? That's almost a year.
I know, dude. It sucks. Now, unfortunately, the Rona hit, so a lot of my medical records were like unable to be retrieved, so that's kind of why it took so long.
That's some bullshit.
I know, dude. Comic Land in the chat.
Hey, Zach, Marco's asking you, do you have Dragon Ball Super on your collections?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my mic. So let me see how I'm gonna do this. I want to show you my collection, Marco, of Dragon Ball stuff. So I'm gonna stop cam for a second. Okay, cool. So let me
grab these people right now.
Grab this.
Yeah, we're gonna see a part of the room that we haven't seen before, guys.
I know, it's like I have really shaky hands, so let's.
Damn, Clipper King. It's a big channel.
Oh yeah, he's one of the OGs.
He's
So
old.
I do have Dragon Ball Super in my collection. It's there.
Oh, he got the molecule age John Lennon. That's hilarious.
Wait, what?
He got the molecule age John Lennon. That was the last.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that is my Dragon Ball collection. It's a little bit of GT, Dragon Ball down there, and then I just knocked these down right now when I got up. It's too thick. Just some random stuff here.
I will say, Zach. Okay, when I first started hanging out with Zach,
Yo,
he had 4 shelves.
the queen right there, baby. The goat, the people's champ.
And he would have 1, maybe 2 figures per DTOF shelf.
Yo, yes.
And he would, we always make fun of him. In fact, we even made fun of him the other day because he would buy and then sell really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I went over the other day because I needed to sign some stuff for our Patreons and collect some stickers and stuff. We just like podcast stuff. And I was in Zach's collection room. I was like, I'm really proud of this guy. I don't think I told him that, but it's nice to see him actually like keep stuff because I know maybe his ambitions were greater than his space, but now he has the space to do it, so it's nice.
Yeah, I think that's at some point, like once the shelves, it's not even sometimes the money, it's the way to display them, or sometimes it gets too crammed up. Yeah, do you watch like they make fun of him, Cletus? Do you watch his channel?
Cletus.
Yeah, half gladiator, half Greek, or
I've seen his channel every
That
once in a while.
sounds familiar. I don't know.
dude, they destroyed. They made a skit with King Zach. With I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jetta Patrol.
Yeah.
Yeah, because apparently he buys figures to sell them. It lasts for like about a month or so, and man, it's just funny like how collectors nowadays notice these things, like with Justin being too positive or Jetta just BSing his way apparently, and they're getting called out. That wasn't happening like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, what is the thing I'm known for? Like just being a fucking negative Nancy, probably.
Yeah, me too. A foul mouth, fucking negative.
Austin says, "Isn't there some kind of virtual SDCC convention coming up soon?" Yeah, it's Sideshow Con. Eddie says, "Let me get that Uzaru, Zach." I have 3, and each is better than the last. Comic Land says, "What do you think about the Deadpool animatronic head?" I think it looks great.
Dude,
I think it looks fantastic.
100% thought that was a gag. I thought that was a joke thing. I saw the commercial for it and I was like, oh, that'd be cool if they actually made that. And then it was a thing. They actually did make that. I think that's so cool. I wouldn't own it. But I think it's awesome that they made it for people who do want it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not bad.
100% it was a gag because the commercial was almost like an infomercial, if I'm remembering correctly. And I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
that'd be hilarious if they actually did this. And they actually did it. I was like, oh damn, that's cool.
You son of a bitch, you did it. Oh, I'm just so happy with this Roshi, guys. Like the joints are all loose. I hit it with the Joy of Hobbying joint fixer.
Dude.
Austin's asked about it a few times. This is what it looks like.
The joint
Pretty
juice?
nice. Yeah, joint juice.
Damn. Did you guys like just bought everything and put it up together? This joint juice, or
Yeah, it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars of research and development to come up with the right materials and chemical compounds to tighten joints. And we made 25 bottles, and they went quick.
yeah,
And so some people were asking for a second batch, but we have to get a certain number of people committed to get all the things we need to put it together again. Renting science labs to do science is a very
Science
expensive
shit.
optical.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Zach, just to go back to what you were saying a minute ago, I love collecting Dragon Ball Z almost more than anything.
Dude, it's so fun.
They're just like they're incredibly well made. Even the worst one on my shelf is still
As good as any other line's average figure.
best. Yeah, it's Bandai really fucking. I think they put all their money into the figure arts line for Dragon Ball Z because their figure arts line for Star Wars is not very good.
Dude, you guys
Cool.
gotta hit up GameStop every once in a while. They got all sorts of Dragon Ball Z's there.
Dude, I'm boy
Yeah, they're
planning.
starting to get more imports. I'm kind of worried they're like not going to be around much longer, but
Austin says, "Who sells the best Hot Toys accessories or parts in the country?" I like Toy Anxiety or Monkey Depot. They're really good websites.
Toy Anxiety-
Anxiety tends
good.
to have more stuff, but Monkey Depot tends to have random, hard to find stuff.
I really, really like Black Ops toys. If
They're
you're
so
willing,
fucking expensive.
yeah,
Dude.
if you're willing to spend the money, they usually have exactly what you're looking for. But it's like
Yeah.
if you go on Toy Anxiety and a 9mm pistol is like 99 cents, maybe $1.99,
On Black Ops, it's like 10.
it'll be like $25. It's like, well, I mean, but in the rare case that you're like, I need this very specific set of boots, they're probably gonna have it, and it'll be expensive. It's like, dude, I could buy a real pair of boots for that much. Like, are you crazy?
I know, it's crazy.
Like, do you need it? Then you got to spend the money, or keep looking. Day and night. 1/6
Hell
kit.
yeah.
Yeah, I like 1/6 kit, but they I just like their like head sculpts. I don't really buy their accessories.
1/6 kit is in Hong Kong, right? Is it?
Yes.
It's overseas.
1/6 kit is great, but I think the question was in the country. So yeah, 1/6 kit is great for accessories, but it is in Hong Kong. Toy Anxiety has a 50% discounts too. They've only done that once as long as I've been collecting. Are they doing another one? Gotta check. That's pretty dope if they are.
Yeah. Eric says GameStop looks like they're having a blowout sale and not restocking anything. I mean, they can go under.
Dude, I am so fucking pissed with GameStop. They have been dragging absolute ass on my fucking Ultra Instinct Goku pre-order. At this point, I'm just gonna cancel it probably and just buy it somewhere else.
Steven has them.
Yeah, but they're a little expensive.
Oh, are they? Yeah, I ended up getting it from Buddy just because I was already there.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Buddy, so I was like, you know what, dude, I'll throw you a bone because he was helping me out with that figure for Danny. Optical helped Danny track down a figure he was looking for.
Yeah,
like on eBay, it was like over $200, and I found it here in a shop in town for $80, and we shipped it to him.
Dude, that's pretty sweet.
that was a magical tale.
Man, that's the kind of community we like to build.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Stephen Kretz in the chat.
What up, Steven?
I was thinking about him the other day.
I think about Stephen Kret every day. Dude, I felt so bad. Last night I took a Dean nap, which is where you take the super ass long nap in the middle of the day.
Yeah, where it's like
And
you technically just slept all day.
yeah, and Steven had texted me and I
sleeping than being awake.
totally blew it off. I felt bad.
Oh, poor Steven. But he knows you love him.
It's more than a power nap then.
Dude, and the worst part was we woke up and we ate dinner, right? And then I was like, my wife's like, I'm gonna make coffee because I'm kind of feeling tired. And it was like 2:30 in the morning when we realized how late it was, and our kid was still up, and we're like, oh shit. Because we all took like this long ass middle of the day nap. And
Is she still in school or not right now?
Vivi is still in school, yeah.
Do they actually go to school, or is it like homeschool?
Look at the school right now situation.
Well, no, I mean like it's daycare. It's like it's at the daycare.
Oh, so she's still going.
Are you going to send your kids?
Some places they just stopped doing it.
No, they do it there. It's one of those things like if it does get really bad, then for sure we'll pull her out. But my wife does a lot of conference calls all day and does a lot of different things, and it's just not possible for her to do the work that she needs to do with a 3-year-old in the house. And then I work with people that are ill. Not let me rephrase that. I work with people with disabilities, and they, for like many reasons, I can't have her there. So push comes to shove, I guess my wife would have to suck it up and work from home with the baby. But fortunately, they've only had one kid test COVID positive, and that was back in March. So they what they do now is they test all the kids when they come in for fever, and if their kids have no fever, then they let them in. But yeah, no adults are allowed inside the building. And the staff wears masks, everything's sanitized. They send the blankets back home, very regularly for cleaning and everything like that. So it is it's crazy, but yeah.
Do you know what's
Scary.
wild?
Really
What's that?
scary.
I went to Optical 20's page so I could get the link for our stream.
Uh-huh.
And I clicked on the stream and it has an ad on it. I was like, I'm so not used to seeing ads when I
Oh,
click on our videos.
Oh yeah. Um
Time, guys.
Comic Lances, Zach, what do you think about the Baby Yoda life size? Depends on which one you're asking about. I think the Hot Toys one, not a huge fan of the seams. The Sideshow one, I think it looks really good. I think it's really shitty that they upped the price for the people that pre-ordered later than the first. I think it's the first maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Um, push comes to shove, I think that the Sideshow one has the potential to be the better piece because it has lineage to the actual production company that made the 3D physical object for the show. Whereas the Hot Toys one, like it is a figure with changeable parts, and you see those seams. And Austin asks, Zach, are you going to get any more Miles Morales figures anytime soon? I mentioned it about 20 minutes ago. I'm not sure if you heard, but I'm getting the Final Battle Young Rich figure. That figure should be coming out, I think TNS said in the next 2 to 3 weeks from Young Rich. I have the Hot Toys on pre-order, and then I'm hoping to maybe get the Mafex Spider-Verse Miles, but that's $100, and I don't know about that. So yeah,
Zach,
I do have that coming in.
what do you think? Why do you think they up the price for that Baby Yoda?
Uh, that's a good question.
Maybe they
To set the price for something like that, I mean, I imagine there's lots of things that go into setting that price. Some people were saying that COVID is making everything more expensive. Maybe that is the case. Maybe it's not. I've never personally seen anything like that, as far as I know, in collecting. Usually, and it's not like Sideshow is selling a Hot Toys product and they up the price, from Hong Kong price, secret base price to Sideshow price. It was like they had a price and they were okay with selling it. Typically, when things tend to sell really well, you start to get quantity discounts. So for me, even on a very small scale, making the joint fixer bottles, it would be cheaper for me to make 100 than it would for me to make 5, or it's cheaper to make 25 than it is to make 1. Same thing goes with our stickers and our Patreon stuff. We have more Patreons, we buy more stickers. It's cheaper. We can get more sticker per every $5, say. So the logic that some people had was maybe it sold too well and now the production costs increase. I don't think that's the case. I've never heard of that from the business classes that I took in school. Usually you tend to get things cheaper with a quantity discount. I'm not a business student, so I'm not privy to a lot of these things, but everyone that I talked to that works in some level of production thought that was really odd. Maybe Sideshow is having to pay a lot of people to stay at home. Maybe not as. I mean, I don't know. I could speculate endlessly, but that's a great question. I don't know that I really have a good answer. Maybe they priced
They
it too cheap. I mean,
cheap.
I don't know, because the weird thing is it almost felt like the price went up, if I'm remembering correctly, after the Hot Toys price was announced or right around that time. Um,
I think
and
you're
it
right.
Yeah, it just, I don't know if they just thought
I thought it was kind of like the situation with jazzing dioramas. They had a pretty good idea what something was going to cost, and then when they finally got around to getting it done, they were like, "Hey, we're going to honor the people that already paid for it, but anyone going forward, we just have to charge more." That's kind of how I saw it, but I mean, I don't
yeah,
know.
but yeah, that is true. But their factories were
Oh,
doing.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
They're
it seemed like
bigger
they
than a
were
mom and
handling the
pop.
production. So I
Yeah,
mean, Jazz Inc. is 3 individuals working real jobs to do this as a side thing and have very small quantities, so you don't get that scale discount. I mean,
right.
even if they're making 100, I mean that's a lot less than this company making 10, 20,000. Comic Land says, Zach, are you not happy with the Deadpool Hot Toys because they didn't add Wade's own head? I don't think I said I wasn't happy with the Deadpool Hot Toys, but I don't think it's too bad. I know the Burning Soul third-party head is really good, so uh, for me, there's a tutorial on the Collecting Weekly YouTube channel where I took that head and it's really awful, like out of the box. And I gave it like a 5-minute repaint, and it just like really made it look good. In fact, I'm wondering, would you mind if I pull it up real quick, Optical?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me,
I ended up buying Zach's Deadpool figure. It was a kit bash between version 1 and version 2.
wait, how did you buy it? You bought it from
Brought
the
from
guy.
you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Did I get 2 Deadpools? Because I sold mine to the guy that got the 46.
No, you sold it to me. It's right here. It's the V1 Deadpool with the V2 suit. No, I didn't get the head sculpt, but I got the figure.
I'm almost certain I didn't sell that to you. I'm
Zach,
not saying that you're
I
wrong.
have it's right here, and I got the figure from you.
Did I buy a second one then? Now I'm just
I don't
like,
know, because you
my-
even gave me the body for the first second Deadpool figure.
I
Did
am literally
Because you took the suit off of the V2
what?
and put the V1 accessories on it, and you gave me that figure and the body. Even in the box, I have everything.
I'm not. So you have the Wade Wilson head?
No, you sold that before I got the figure.
Maybe the guy just bought the head. That's so weird. My mind is literally blown.
I mean, I know where I got all my figures. I got it from
No,
you.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying my mind is now blown because
and
of
that
this.
is such a fantastic fucking figure. I think the V2 with the V1 accessories is just so good.
Okay, so this is Optical, you have to add me to the stream on the
Oh yeah. There you go.
Okay, so this is how it comes out of the box, right? And it's really good for the price. It's like a $20 head. But if you look at the screenshots from the movie, the head should be like
Way
not
more
that color at all.
pale.
So in this video, I just got like this paint that I've had lying around for like several months, and I just put some blue tack on the eyes because I was like, I mean, this is a $25 head sculpt. I don't think I'm gonna ruin it. Mecha Sand primer, and I primed it with that primer, which made it really light. And I did like a really light pass of the primer, so you can see in some cases it didn't really even cover a lot of that red. And then I added some, I think it was Army Painter, like dried blood, just real light, and just sprayed that on. And then I gave it a quick wash with Reichland Flesh Shade from Citadel, and which is really gross. And then I think I went over one more time with the with a Q-tip to clean it off. And once I did that and I sealed everything and I took the eyes off, the end result was like pretty much like spot on to the movie. And it took like 5 minutes, and I was like really proud of how it turned out. Because the look I was going for was this look here, and I just think it was like perfect.
Damn.
So,
Nailed it, dude.
yeah,
Yep.
so from that Anakin Skywalker looking dude to this.
I got Paradox Nerd in the chat. What's
That's
up,
nice.
What up, Paradox Nerd?
I want to give a shout out to Paradox Nerd because
Who's your boy?
dude, he's destroying hot toys in his reviews lately. I'm so proud of you. Clipper King will be proud of you. He was here earlier.
He liked the Leia and the Wicket.
He did. He did. He destroyed what was that? That's the small one. I
Yo,
forgot.
Mario says I'm struggling with the
Rocket?
idea of letting go of my Mark 46. Dean, hit up Mario.
He's not. He always says that.
Then Austin says, when are you doing your reviews? I don't know if that's for me or Optical, but
I guess for PJ, he said he had 2 Marvel figure reviews coming soon. PJ, I thought you're just doing Star Wars now. Oh, there you go, Zhao and Gong. There you go.
it's your
yeah.
boy.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, he didn't like that one.
Yeah.
But he liked the Leia. Ow. Ooh, I need to watch his Anovos one. I didn't know he got that one for the Mandalorian helmet.
Oh yeah, he criticized that too.
I don't think it's worth the money because I've seen it in hand, and I think there's cooler ones you could get.
It's what? It's like $700, I think.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, if you
It's
guys
like-
watch the PJ, he had a heated conversation with Steve on what was that? One of the episodes of Rogue One 6 that we're
Yeah.
talking about.
What
Like
happened?
Steve
Like live?
Yeah, it was live, Rogue One 6. I normally don't participate in like live streams, but I think like Steve was saying, we over criticize Hot Toys, that
Oh no, you have to.
there's only small things, and I agree to some degree, but Yeah, the Jawa and Gronk is way overpriced.
Wait, someone linked me that live show. That sounds awesome. I watched their show. Was it yesterday's show or was that a while ago?
That was a week ago, I think.
Hey, Paradox Nerd wants to come on.
Oh, all right. Let's do this.
Yeah, because Zach and I have talked about this before on our show. If you don't criticize a company for doing something you don't like, they're gonna assume you're gonna pay for it no matter what and keep doing it. And if you don't like put your money where your mouth is and say either don't support the product or like let them know like, hey, this is fucking bullshit, they're gonna assume everything's fine. You have to let them know. And even if you think it's a small thing, it's not, because it's gonna snowball out of control.
Steve and I have had maybe like indirect conversations about this. I think with the Stanley, I was calling for a lot of collectors to boycott that, and I think, you know, at that time he was saying like you shouldn't like you wouldn't like disown your child for like messing up a small mistake, but for me it was like one of those things where that wasn't the first time Hot Toys had did something underhanded. It was like the fifth. And you know, we're a year later and it's continues to be a problem where they, you know, for example, even just the Far From Home Spider-Man with the backdrop that they changed from like this really beautiful plastic looking thing to this cheap shitty cardboard. I mean, I think for us it's important to call them out, and I mean the only way you're only going to change anything in this hobby is to hit them where it hurts, and that's their wallet. Canceling pre-orders, not pre-ordering in the first place.
Yeah, because they solicited that Spider-Man with a completely different accessory for the base, and then when they're like, okay, here's the final product, it's cardboard.
It's your
ridiculous.
boy. It's your boy.
What's up? Are you tired or what?
What's going on, guys? How's everything?
Explain this situation.
That was hot, PJ.
Oh yeah, well, you know, me and Steve go back.
But that's
at
the thing,
it.
though. Like,
it was just a fun little.
Steve is very passionate in a great way.
We all are to an extent.
But at the same time, like, I almost feel like we all have our own like radical opinion on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't heard I'm trying to get the timestamp right now so I can hear it real quick. But
it was a long one. It was I would say, I don't know when it was, but it was probably in the middle of the stream, and we kind of went at it for, I would say 20 or 30 minutes, but
but it wasn't personal, was it? Or it was just
it wasn't personal. It's just, you know, he has one side and obviously I have one side, and it's nothing to take anything away from Hot Toys. Hot Toys, they do good work. They do great work. But when it comes down to things that they're releasing and you are like, wait a minute, why did they do that? You know, you have the right to criticize them. You're not going to be like, oh my gosh, they're still good, and this is so good, and this Ant-Man head sculpt is like okay, you know. No, the Ant-Man head sculpt sucks. Like that's not like a Marvel Legends figure. You know, we can't just like, okay, that's $20 down the drain, whatever. This is like a $250 figure that you waited for two years for. 2 years for. And you're going to give us that. Yeah, you have the right to criticize them. Okay, yeah, you could not display it with the head sculpt, but I'm sorry, you teased that you're going to give us a head sculpt. I want that head sculpt, you know. I'm not going to be like, well, whatever. I'm going to forget about that head sculpt and just move on with it. But
I said, I told them, it's like, if they announced that pre-order for $240 and it didn't come with a head sculpt, people will be like, this is way too much for a figure with one head sculpt. It should be like 200 because you paid for that head sculpt. It's not a bonus. You paid for it. We paid for it.
Yeah.
So if they said, hey, it's 260 without Ant-Man head sculpt, people are going to be like, what the? Now they're saying, I'm not going to display it with the head sculpt anyway. I know. That's not the point, though. You paid for it.
Yeah, so you're overpaid for a figure.
Yeah.
And that's just one example. And like, you know, with the Hawkeye, I know people are like, oh, it's the best Hawkeye figure. It's great. Yeah, I'm not going to take anything away from that. I'm sorry that Hawkeye is getting a lot of like, I guess, a little bit of the backlash that was from Ant-Man. But if you look at that head sculpt, it's like widened. His face is like widened from the prototype. So it's just one of those things is where, you know, there was like a slew of releases that kind of like, you know, you start doubting the quality of Hot Toys. Like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And
Yeah.
one thing about Hot Toys, it's all about the head sculpt. If you don't have the head sculpt, then why are you buying the Hot Toy? You know? And
He said something too where it's kind of like if we see something very little or minute, we blow it out of proportion. I was just like, and if you compare to sports, mentioned in the last live stream, it's like if Tom Brady throw 2 interceptions, world
Mhm.
goes crazy. Mitch Trubisky throws 4 interceptions a day, no one talks about it. It's because Tom Brady's the best. It's kind of like with Hot Toys. So if they make a mistake, they get all the praise. This head sculpt is terrific. It looks spot on, but they can also get the blame for very small things because we're so used to greatness like Tom Brady.
yeah. Mhm.
So it comes with the territory, man. So
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
totally.
Good point. I never thought of it that way.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
no-
I mean, complacency is such a killer of anything. I mean, there's shows where we get off the air and it's just like, man, we had a bad show. Like that was just not good
Mhm.
for any reason. Like it just sucked.
Yeah.
And we go into the next week and we try to do better and we make changes. But if we were just sitting there patting ourselves on the back after every show, we would never be, at the level we are now.
Yeah.
And Hot Toys, like you said, I mean, they're the Tom Brady of figures. They're making fucking incredible pieces of art that you can own in your collection. And when Sideshow makes a mistake, it's just like, okay, that's
Yeah.
Sideshow. But when Hot Toys does it, you're exactly right, Optical. It's a far greater thing that happens.
Yeah.
It's more important for us to call that out.
Yeah, and it's good to call. Well, it's one of those things. It's constructive criticism, right? It's like one of those things where I don't like that Ant-Man head sculpt. I just don't like it. But why? I just don't like it. And it's just one of those things. Well, you got to give a reason why you don't like it. Most of my criticisms have been, valid because there is a reason. Like, okay, the head sculpt for Hawkeye is a little bit fatter. Wicket doesn't really look like the prototype. I mean, I get it. I give them the benefit of the doubt. It's hard to mass produce a Wicket figure, but you got to call it out, right? Leia looks like the same Leia as the past couple of releases. Okay, fine. It's still a good head sculpt, but still, kind of wish that they are advancing in terms of their releases and like what they give us. Gong Droid, oh, what a shit show
Awful.
that was. I'm so sorry if I'm allowed to
Dude,
curse
this
in here,
sucks
but
because I
Oh, yeah.
really want to go on Droid.
We're always allowed to curse.
yeah, and it's just one of those things. Also, it's like there was one thing with Hot Toys. I've been collecting for quite some time. They usually have like one, maybe two bad releases a year, right? But if it's like 4 in a row, you're like, wait a minute, hey, what's going
Yeah.
on here?
Yeah,
Wait,
you gotta
what is
call
going
them.
on here? And you kind of have to call them out. And same thing with
Yeah.
Sideshow. There was a time in terms of the statue game where they were like releasing bad statues. Like the final production looks like crap, and the QC sucked. Man, did they like turn around and they just slammed us with like a whole bunch of beautiful statues. They like listened and they were like, you know what? We're gonna show them what's up. And they like unzipped their pants and
Whipped it out.
whipped it out,
Yeah, no matter how small you might think it is, like let's just say they came out with a Luke Skywalker and he only had a gun hand and a lightsaber hand. That would fucking suck because it really limits the poses you could choose to do with your Luke Skywalker. So if you're just like, if you don't say anything, Hot Toys is just going to assume like, okay, well, we'll just give those accessories to everybody because everyone can like, it's universal. But it's like, but my Thor wouldn't have a gun holding hand. So you got to call it out before it gets to that point. Even if you think it's small, be like, hey, this is a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe not right this second, but it will be if you don't stop now.
Yeah. And then like some of their new releases, like anybody here excited besides the 2099 Spider-Man?
I think that's the only one people are excited
I mean, it's
about.
cool,
Like-
but I mean, do we really need another Stanley cameo? I mean, what, there's like 40 of them that they could do? Like, are we going to get one for the next 40 SDCCs? I don't think
Yeah.
anyone wants that.
Yeah.
Is it the same head sculpt?
let the man rest.
I think the glasses are different, and so it plugs in different to the head. But I want to say it's the same sculpt,
Oh, see, then that's
just
just
slightly re-engineered.
yeah. Then that's just lazy.
There was someone.
It's
It's
just
the same thing with the Leia, with the Wicket. It's
Yeah.
the exact same head sculpt. It's just the hair's re-engineered to come off,
Yeah.
but it's the same sculpt. That figure
Maybe
should
it
be
painted a little
cheaper.
bit differently. Maybe painted a little bit differently, right?
Oh,
We'll give them that.
little. I mean, I watched your review, and they're like, I mean, they're
Yeah,
neck and neck. So, but it's like, so that figure should technically be cheaper because you didn't spend the R&D on
Yeah.
engineering a new figure or a new
Yeah, and you
artist
just
to sculpt it.
There was a really good comment. I think it was by Mike Collins on Scavenger's Facebook group, but he was saying like every SDCC or Toy Fair exclusive set should be like one Star Wars, one DC, one Marvel, and then one just totally out there figure. Like a smaller figure like an
That would be
Alita or
dope.
something that isn't a line that tends to get a lot of love. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, for them to go 4 for 4 on Marvel is just like
Yeah, especially
that
in a
just
year where there's nothing Marvel coming out for this foreseeable future.
yeah.
I mean, what's the
And-
next thing? Next summer, and it's Disney Plus.
yeah.
And-
I was
and
gonna
here-
say with the really quick with the Whiplash, like that's the same head sculpt, the same release, same figure. Like, are you kidding me? Like, okay, who asked for another Whiplash figure?
Dude, I haven't heard anyone say I want that figure even when it first came out.
Yeah.
Zach made a point the other day. He's like, I've never even seen that figure for sale on the aftermarket. I've seen the Whiplash where he's in the armor.
I've
never-
never seen that in anyone's collection.
That's really expensive nowadays too, I think. Well, it's gonna tank now, but
A lot of people think it's a tease for a Mark V re-release, but I don't know, man. It just really bummed me out. And the thing is, everyone's saying, "Well, these are just the exclusives. We'll get excited for what they show at the con, the virtual con." But I mean, Hot Toys doesn't make like 40% of the shit they show at con. So
Yeah, I was gonna say
even then, you get excited, and it's like you're waiting 4 years for Padme or 3 years for Poe, or
Yeah,
you're still waiting for C3.
you're still waiting for Poe.
Dude, I was gonna
I
say
don't think that Poe's getting made.
Poe was in one of our first iteration collecting weekly episodes. Still fucking waiting for it.
dude, yeah, it's like they finished the whole damn trilogy before they could release a Poe.
that's ridiculous. Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
hell? What happened? I'd like to know. I mean, I'm sure it's not just because they're lazy. It's probably a licensing thing or something. Like,
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, and that's one thing about me is that like if you only have one cat in like the market, like that's just dominating everything, there's no competition, then they could do whatever they want. People will buy it. But that's why like we got to call them out when you need to call them out. Like obviously don't just go like Hot Toys suck, right? It's just like, someone watching my review, I hate that review. Why? Can you give me some constructive criticism of what I could do better? No, you just suck, dude. You're not my boy. I actually had someone say that. It's like, I always say, it's your boy. Like someone said, you're not my boy.
You're not
I'm
my
like,
boy.
yeah, I was like, you're not mine too. So
That was
yeah,
me.
but I'm just saying, it's just like,
I mean, to
if
be
we are just,
sometimes
yeah.
there's people you don't like.
yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
I read
if there's,
comments and tell them that, but
I get 5
Yeah.
thumbs down every time I release a video. I just released it 5 minutes ago and I got 5 thumbs down. It's like you can't
Oh.
possibly watch my video.
well, they don't know that they're adding to the algorithm.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's just like, it's not like we're like saying Hot Toys suck, whatever. Like, I hate Hot Toys. No, we're offering genuine criticism and saying, like, dude, like, stop re-releasing the same head sculpt for every Leia figure. Like, give us some progression.
Yeah,
Don't
man.
give us like Ant-Man with veneers on. Like, don't give us that ever again.
Manny said, work smarter, not harder. They don't need to sculpt a new Stan Lee, or let's just say it's Leia. But
Mhm,
I mean, I guess that's technically true. But
mhm,
if you're paying top dollar,
mhm.
I think
Amen.
you should at least get, I don't know, maybe like a different expression, or I don't know, because
Just a different expression.
that so it's like,
Yeah.
or is Hot Toys even gonna risk it anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I watched every single one of PJ's reviews, and I don't even think you're that bad. Because Steve was saying it's like, oh, we're really critical. obviously hasn't seen a review from Clipper King, because Clipper King would just bash a figure. I was like, well, this is horrible. PJ was
Yeah, that's
still,
one thing.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I listened to a part of the clip, Mario. Thanks for sending me a part of the time slot. But Steve made a point, like, if we complain about the small things when the big things happen, like what's going to happen. And I think the biggest thing that I can remember was last year with the Stanley Guardians figure, because they had edited out in a lot of their promotional videos, not on the pictures on Sideshow, but they had edited out the seam on their videos. And that is so wild, like for that they did that. Because that's where they were trying to get a lot of those clicks from people that aren't Hot Toys collectors. They were linking to the pages where you can pre-order it from those videos. So that was huge to me, because I mean, I kind of joked around about it, but we had like kids' toys in our house that had seamless domes. Like, it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
So I mean, I felt that was, we kind of joked about it with Seamgate and everything, and there was a lot going on in the community at that time, but I really felt like that was one of the biggest things, and almost every single other show made almost no deal about it. It just was not even a blip on the radar.
I think they were
And
so stoked to get a Stan Lee that they were willing to ignore the problem.
yeah, and I think we made that point. It's like, are you going to overlook it because it's a Stan Lee? To me, you should hold it to a higher standard because it is. But a lot of people were like, well, I really need to stay out of my collection, so it doesn't bother me that much. But I mean, in reality, it was pretty out there.
Yeah, but one thing also, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Prime 1, all right? Like
Yeah.
Prime 1, like when you think of Prime 1 statues, you think, wow, elite, right? Like whatever
arguably the best.
Arguably, yeah, exactly. And then whenever you see them put out a prototype, you're getting almost the exact same statue.
Yeah.
Like there's no changes. Everything's quality. Maybe your statue might come broken depending on like your carrier, right? UPS or USPS, whatever. But that's not their fault. But I'm just saying, like, that's the standard I hold Hot Toys up to. Like we got to stop to the point where, dude, like releases a prototype that should be exactly like the prototype at this point. Like you guys
like
are
Obi-Wan. They changed the mouth. And
yeah.
Why? The
The
prototype was fine. Why did this change? And it wasn't even like a little change. It was like a very like a significant change.
Yeah, I think it was the paint application on the beard. Like it just
like
they
lip looked like his tongue was sticking out or something like that. And it was like, why? Why did you change it? But Manny said in the chat about the Poe, maybe they can't get the likeness down for Poe, so why even bother putting anything out?
Yeah.
Boy,
I mean, they did it with Ant-Man, so it didn't stop them from Ant-Man.
Yeah, I was like, but they did display it, so
yeah,
no one had any complaints on that one.
They displayed it, and they actually mocked it up in an image teasing that it was coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, it was like him leaning up against the X-wing.
Yeah. Maybe shouldn't fucking show us figures they're not gonna make.
Like, you know what bothers me though from these guys is that we feel like you're like a battered wife. That Hot Toys is basically daring everyone. It's like, we're gonna release some shit products, but guess what? You're still gonna buy it. Because no one else will create another Ant-Man, and you guys are gonna convince yourself that you're not even gonna use that head sculpt anyway. So we're gonna release whatever it is that we. Hey, you know what? You want Gronk? Is Gronk doing in Java? We're gonna price it $270, and guess what? You're gonna like it. F you, you're gonna buy it because you need it in your collection. You need it.
It's like that episode of South Park with the cable company.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you don't like it? Oh, I'm sorry. And they like just like shit all over them. That's exactly what it's like. So it's like you have to call out the BS when you see it.
Yeah,
they're gonna keep doing.
Yeah, and then they got the Gronk, and then they were like, okay, guess what? We're gonna release a 1/6 teddy bear, and we're gonna price it $200. And guess what? You can't do nothing about it because no one else can do this teddy bear.
Yeah, you're never ever gonna get another Ewok or Murder Bear ever again. So guess what? You're gonna buy it.
You're gonna take it home and you're gonna smile about it, and you're gonna be like, well, this is my only chance to get one. So
yeah, and I was gonna say is that like, I just it's not like I didn't I'm going to stop collecting Hot Toys. Like seriously, like dude, like I got like this girl right here. I got,
Nice.
you know, like they
Yeah,
do
they're
quality
coming out.
work, but you just gotta call out the stuff that they don't do. Like no one here is gonna say the Force Awakens Chewbacca is like the best looking figure here. Like you gotta call them out and say like that figure sucks. Like what the hell was that? Why they even release that? You
Easy,
know?
PJ. That's my mascot.
Mario has
I
a
know.
good question here. He said Sideshow's to blame for the U.S. retail pricing. Hot Toys is a bit less expensive, isn't it?
That's true.
Yeah, Hot Toys. I think it's something like a $30-$40 markup from secret base pricing to Sideshow pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but can we even at 220? Is the Java and Gronk still worth $220? I mean, it has no head sculpt.
I don't think so. I think it's really bad. I think they should have just done 2 Jawas and Gonk
Yeah.
separately.
Yeah.
Make Gonk like $130, $100 figure or whatever. Do it by
I even have
itself.
a because I want it.
Yeah, but regardless, we're still. I mean, even though they're priced a little bit cheaper than us, but like they're still $260. You know, like there's no denying that. Even if you go to Toys Wonderland or anybody, that they're still going to sell it to you for $260 because, you know,
Yeah.
that's it is what it is. You know, and
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just one of those where you just kind of wish that, you know, you get what you pay for. You know, not like, oh well, I'll just live with it. You know, who like wants to do stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's saying that they're going to boycott Hot Toys or
Yeah, no, I'm not
Star
saying it.
Wars
boycott.
company. No one does, but if they do something like that, especially like PJ said in Succession, I mean, you got to call them out. You know, like
There's a few times that I've encouraged people to cancel pre-orders. Stanley, I think Leia was really bad.
The Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was really bad. Yeah, but that's the only way that the changes are going to be
vote
made
for your wallet.
because we called out Rebor really hard last year,
Yeah,
and they did make some.
Ignoring us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they made some changes based on some
Mhm.
critiques they got. So I mean,
Yeah.
it does work. I mean, the court of public opinion is a
Mhm.
really good decider for things like that. So
Yeah. And you know what? You know, a lot of us have channels here, obviously, right? And it's I feel like it would be a disservice to our viewers if we're like, oh, it's great. Hot Toys is great. Oh my God. Like you're not gonna believe anything we say in the future, right? Like, oh, PJ's gonna say it's positive, it's good, you know, like
I'm not
you
gonna
know, it's
listen because he's just a yes man.
Exactly, and same with optical. Like if optical says everything, like is like, oh, they're good, they're great, they're great, they're great. Like nothing wrong with Hot Toys. Then his credibility goes down because like, okay, can we really rely on optical for a good, valid, like honest review? And I think that's just part of my thing. Like, if it's good, it's good, and if it's not, it's not.
that's the
they're
thing that we kind of run into with our channel a little bit is like
Mm.
I fucking hate making reviews. Like I just am not good at it. I don't have the patience for it. I guess I have the equipment for it, but I just don't like it. So I only review figures that I actually really like. Like, there's people out there that review every single release, like just
Mhm.
full stop. I
Yeah.
don't. So the reviews on my channel tend to be overly positive because again, it's like if I'm gonna sit there for an hour and fucking review this thing, it's gonna be a figure that I really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, with the Young Rich, I did give some critiques, of like genuine concerns that I had, but generally speaking, if I take the time, it's going to be a figure that I really like. Like there's a lot of figures I get, and it's just really bad, and I just don't really care to review those. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I know you guys do really well with your reviews, in
Yeah,
both the quantity and the genuineness of the review.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's
optical.
a few I
Sorry.
like to watch, and Zach and I talked about this the other day. Sometimes we like to watch reviews of figures we already own because it's like getting to mess around with it without like disturbing it on your shelf. And every time there's a new version of the older figure, specifically I'm talking about like Final Fantasy figures, he's like, oh, this one's so much better. And it's like, but I own them. It's not. You're only saying that because it's the newest one. But really, like, there were no improvements or the paint apps are probably worse. If you're just saying it's awesome just because it's the newest version or because it's Hot Toys, why am I listening to you?
Yeah.
Now I have the benefit of knowing that it's not better, but as someone who's just watching to maybe learn about it, it's a disservice.
Can we feature Mario's comment here, the BVS one? This is a really good point. So he said they updated the BVS Bats body for the final release after all the fat shaming from the prototype. Yeah, I remember that. That one was really bad.
Yeah.
He's still got a fucking dump truck though. You seen the ass on that figure? Does anybody have it?
Yeah, that was bad. Like, I don't know what happened there, but
Dude.
It's just the way the suit bunches up is really bad though.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a very stretchy material, so it's like with the zipper and everything, it has to be there. It's awful though, but it's fortunately hidden by the cape.
Yeah.
So yeah, that podcast. So I was, when I don't even watch podcasts. I just listen to it, while they're doing it, and I heard I gotta move away because I was like I gotta chime in because he said on the Ant-Man head sculpt was like do you have it in hand? Because that's the most thing that I always get. It's like, do you have it in hand? It was like I bet it's better in hand. So it's just like, oh god, okay, I gotta get on my keyboard. And now it's just like, dude, BG Toys art can't make it look good. And BG Toys art is the best photographer of art. It's like you don't need somebody in hand to know that it sucks. Those are the arguments that I hate. Do you have it in hand? I always get this. If you don't like the figure, don't buy it. I see it on my comment section all the time.
Or you get the thing is like, oh, the lighting is off.
Yeah,
sometimes it actually is, but more often than not, it's just a shit figure. Like with the Hot Toys Baby Yoda, that lighting really did that figure no favors. Like once they fixed it, it was definitely serviceable. But I always see that in the comment. It's almost like Hot Toys hater bingo. It's like you can just check the boxes. Like who's gonna say what? Mario says Nestor. Look at that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that like I called out Hot Toys for that seam on their around, for the Baby Yoda ears. Like, are you kidding me? Like this is like a $400 figure, and you're gonna give us seams. I mean, great concept, obviously, but man, you gotta hide those seams, man. They're just so out there, They could have done better.
If you sculpt them, maybe like folds up there, maybe. I mean,
yeah, or just what? Just have it be articulated, like right, like where you could like articulate the ears. I'm pretty sure they could do that. Just have some wires and stuff inside.
Yeah,
like
because
Thanos a soft body under the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like they could do the same thing with the ears, just have a soft body. But then it's like people are just going to complain because that's going to tear after a few years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what, guys? Like, I love Hot Toys. I'm still gonna collect them. I just kind of wish that there was like some other company that will
That's a good comment.
challenge them. You know what I'm saying? Like where they have to be on their game
DJ
all
has
the time.
Great comment here. He says, "Show me another company that can make a good or better figure than this one." Like that's not the point. Just because they're the only ones, that doesn't mean they don't have to improve. I mean, I think the young rich,
amen.
I think the young
the
rich
Clipper King
Miles Morales is such a good figure that it really is going to test like how good Hot Toys this figure is going to be. You get 3 outfits, like a shitload of accessories. The sculpt is questionable. I will fucking say that. But yeah, it's just everything is just so good on that figure. I have it back there. I did switch the head with Sean Fear's Lotto Scrapyard's custom head, but I mean, just the quality of everything is so good that I mean, just look at the Jordans on that one compared to the Hot Toys Jordans. Obviously, they don't have to worry about licensing stuff, but I just think it's just such like an absolute slam dunk of a figure that I'm hard pressed to believe Hot Toys is going to nail it that much more. So, yeah, there is always that argument though, like show me another company. But yeah, I think now we're starting to get to that point where third party is starting to catch up in terms of quality.
Yeah, what's the one that does the Game of Thrones? Sensation?
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Those figures are good. At least those two. Arguably better than the 3-0 ones.
To answer to DJ, because I get that all the time on my reviews when I said something negative, and I know who's saying that, people who bought the figure, because now because they'll be like, man, this guy's crapping on this $240 figure that I bought. They were like, show me another company. I was like, you have the option not to buy it.
Dude,
It
there's
doesn't-
no bigger protector of a figure than someone that's bought one and knows it's worse.
And
Dude,
we-
they
they were
will
like, it's like, is your collection really gonna have a hole on it because you don't have Ant-Man? So your entire Marvel collection is now ruined because Ant-Man sucks, and now you have to just pony up and just get this figure because, and then they're gonna the retort to that is gonna be like, then why did you buy it? And I'll be like, to review it, and then I can sell it back and get AdSense money, bitch. And I'll be like, yeah. It like baffles me how this. They're the ones who's protecting their figures, and
Yeah, that's so weird. Like, why'd you buy it? To
Yeah.
let you know if it's good or not. What the fuck?
I'm doing y'all a disservice.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to the Clipper King. I didn't know he was on the in the
Yeah,
chat.
he's been popping in and out.
Yeah, shout out to you, Clipper King.
I don't know.
It's an honor, man. Like I've watched him and Optical. Always been like my go-to reviewers. Back in the day. And then one thing I loved about Clipper King that he was funny and honest, and that's what I respect him for. So yeah, shout out to you, man. One of the OGs.
hey, Uncle Rick, we gotta get you in here one of these days if you allow us. If you grace us with your presence.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the Clipper King.
Dude,
'cause
watch his Batman reviews. He does some like great poses, and he's like, I know some of you motherfuckers are gonna be stealing these poses. Dude, I
Okay.
think when we first started hanging out, when I first got the Batman figure, we watched that review together in person.
Okay.
You probably don't remember it. It was 3 or 4 years ago, but
But literally everybody here except me knows who he is.
dude, he's
He's
amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Dude,
He used to get a lot of figures, right?
this big dick
Yeah.
energy. Like, who's Justin?
I wish he continued with the reviews, man.
I've never heard of Justin's Collectibles. Like, that's some big dick energy. Holy shit. It's just like,
Actually, Clipper King was also the guy that introduced me to Hot Toys customizing. He has a DX12 customization video,
Mhm.
and we know how far I've come with that.
oh,
since then.
yes. I know that one.
Yeah.
You were all about the customizing that figure.
Yeah, so definitely a great. If there ever was a Mount Rushmore of collecting, definitely a Clipper would be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
well,
I
subscribed.
wanted to show you this show this to you guys because
Is that Nestor?
this is Queen Studios 1/3 scale Joker statue that's coming out pretty soon. And it's just one of those things where I just want to just kind of prove a point that like there are companies that's coming that's kind of like challenging Prime 1 Studios, right? To their Joker statue that they have. And if you see this, you're like, that's progression. And that's what you want out of your figures. You don't want Ant-Man. You don't want that Paul Rudd head sculpt. You want progression. And that's what I want out of Hot Toys. This kind of progression where you could look at this Joker head sculpt and like be blown away.
Yeah.
And guess what? You know, this is a 1/3 scale statue that's selling for $900. I mean, as of right now, obviously it'll go more once it sells out on the aftermarket. But $900 for a 1/3 scale statue, that is a steal, of a price. And this is what you get. So I just kind of want that from like Hot
Yeah,
Toys.
I mean, competition breeds improvement. Like, can you imagine if Steve Jobs had stopped on his first computer and Bill Gates didn't make his own computer and start competing? Or even like, let's just say the original Star Wars figures, if they still made figures like that today and never improved, that would suck.
Yeah, that would suck. Sideshow's kind of improved with their statues where they're doing dynamic poses where it's like a peg within another peg. And you're like, what the hell? How are they doing that? Like that Rogue maquette that I have, amazing. Like that, it's showing her that she's flying. And I don't know. I've always been a fan of progression and pushing the boundaries. But
Optical, can you share the thing I just put up?
All right. Before I put that in, PJ, did you see the 1/4 scale Joker from Hot Toys like last year or so?
yeah, that sucks.
That sucks. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
So in the group, someone posted this Prime 1 half scale Batman boy, I got roasted in the comments. This looks so bad. Like,
It
I'm
does.
sorry.
Yeah,
If you
and-
bought like, but then there's people saying like, oh, it's the lighting, it's this, it's that. But no, that just looks bad. Like, you can't tell me that is gonna look any better with any other lighting. I've
Yeah.
seen some people doing the Jordan crying eyes in the head sculpt, and it's
Oh,
just fucking incredible.
yeah,
But yeah, but there's a lot of people that will purely defend this just because it's Prime 1.
yes, and that's why, like, again, progression. Like, you just because you're Prime 1 doesn't mean like we're gonna like salivate and eat up everything that you throw at us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna criticize you where it needs to be criticized.
Yeah, 100%.
And with Queen Studios, I'm so glad they're around because, man, guys, I'm telling you guys right now, I can't say it on air, but they got some big surprises for you guys, like in terms of some of the licensed stuff that's coming out pretty soon.
Mario said he looks sad.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're
you'll be
really
sad if you look like that.
Someone
Yeah.
just told me my mom's name is Martha.
But by the way, like, I know I only collect. I've been like on the Star Wars kick recently, and that's mostly been my reviews. But I actually picked up that Queen Studios Joker. I had to because it's just a beautiful head sculpt. Like, it was so hard to find, but I was fortunate enough to find one. And yeah, man, if they do that kind of head sculpts for statues, like, can you imagine the future of statues, like where they're beating out Hot Toys in terms of head sculpt? Because right now, Hot Toys is beating out statues and Prime 1 Studio statues, like in terms of head sculpt, the head sculpt game.
It almost reminds me when I got the NECA quarter scale Batman Begins,
Mhm.
a lot of people were like, that figure's stupid. Like, why would you spend $100 on a NECA figure? And there's a lot of people that I've seen in the groups that are saying like, oh, I want to get into quarter scale Batman. Should I go for the Dark Knight Rises? Should I go for Batman Begins? What should I get as far as Batman goes? And boy, the people that scoff at you for suggesting $100 NECA Batman, that is for all intents and purposes like as good, if not better. Even we talked about him earlier, the UK guy.
Clipper King?
No, not Clipper King. D Knight.
Oh,
D
D-Knight.
Knight has like just basically gone on the record and said like, yo, this figure, like, do not sleep on the NECA quarter scale Batman. It's so much better in a lot of ways than the Hot Toys. But people won't even give that figure a chance purely because it's a NECA figure.
Yeah.
That is wild. That is
Yeah,
literally wild to me.
NECA does great. I mean, they released the Turtles, and
Turtles
those
are
are
Yeah, the
they're
quarter.
amazing.
Yeah, it's almost like
It's just blind loyalty. Like, people would not consider.
why would you buy a Nissan that's faster than a Ferrari when you could just spend way more on a Ferrari? It's like, but it's a better car.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why would I spend more for the sake of spending more?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not offering me a better car if this one's better.
Yeah,
It's just silly. People have these weird loyalties that it's like, why? Why?
that's
Yeah,
why on that
I've gotten
stream with PJ, I was surprised because you expect that from somebody who's new, who maybe has like 2-3 Hot Toys, and they're like falling in love with his franchise. But like, I don't know how many Hot Toys Steve does have. You know, it looks like he's been doing this for a while now. That the blind loyalty, I feel like, was there. You know.
Yeah, and it was a fun conversation. It's also very educating. So hopefully people like that watched it like we're kind of a little bit more knowledgeable of like things with Hot Toys and just the collecting aspect of it. But yeah, I just hope that Hot Toys kind of picks up the game. I mean, I kind of think that with the Black Widow release, they kind of like went back to their former self. So we shall see with future releases because, man, right now I'm not really excited because I mean those Marvel releases or announcements that they had just didn't get me excited for Hot Toys.
Yeah. Like I said, considering there's no Star Wars movie, no Marvel movie, nothing that want you or to get you to want these figures, like you chose these, and they're not even like strong candidates.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Thor Ragnarok, just think of every character in that movie that doesn't yet have a Hot Toys, and
They made a Korg.
Valkyrie, like, come on, like they teased that prototype how many times in cons, and they still haven't.
Being teased again right now.
Ugh, Don't get me
Yep.
started.
They
Jason
put-
Nelson makes a great point. Sensation figures challenge Hot Toys, but there's still too many Hot Toys. Yes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that in my review of Tywin. I was like, this is as good, if not better, than any average Hot Toys. Maybe a little light on the accessories, but then again, it's a character that doesn't really interact with a lot of things.
for the price.
Yeah, I mean, that was like $110 figure, and I mean, it was just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
They they need competition, man. Just
Yeah. Like I said, if they had announced a Korg, even I would have been like, damn,
Yeah,
I want to get that. But
that
it's
would have
like
been awesome.
leave from a scene that's really a throwaway. We need Thor to cut his hair scene.
Yeah,
It's like,
I mean-
how am I going to get excited about that? Especially when there's cooler Stan Lee figures out there.
I mean, even that Iron Man, I was just like, like come on now.
I'm just confused as why the Mark IV.
or
Yeah, you're
why
really confused about that. I don't know why you're.
It doesn't
Just-
do anything. It's such a boring suit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess it fights War Machine, but I mean, and he eats a donut in it, but like the Mark IV doesn't do anything.
yeah,
that entire line, man, it's just safe. You know, it's like they probably like, or we already have these licenses. They're probably going to expire, especially with Whiplash.
Ooh,
Might
that's
as well-
That's a
might
good.
as well get one. You know, before I don't know how licenses work. You know, like if you talk to like somebody who's trying to defend Hot Toys, they would say anything. They already got the tooling or whatever it is, the licensing. Maybe it's going to expire, so might as well pump it out. You know.
Yeah. That's usually why, like they did the Spider-Man movies with
mhm.
his name.
Yeah.
The guy
But I
with
was gonna,
fire.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, just real quick, one thing I just wanted to mention is that, in terms of collecting, what's really been blowing up in the collecting industry, designer toys, dude. It
Ugh,
is
the worst.
going in, like, we're not talking about like the ones on Sideshow, but just the ones in like, like in general. Like I'll share a screen real quick.
Yeah, like you're talking about like shoe designers are like, oh, I'm gonna make a vinyl toy. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's like a lot of graffiti art, a lot of artwork, a lot of artists like making their, like, like they would sketch a drawing or whatever, and then they'll make it into a toy figure. And this is just an example of one, and they're going quick. They're like selling in like a minute, So this is I shared a screen. So this is Vandal.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like a lot of like these like street artwork, and like they make it into like a toy vinyl figure. And so this is they made like 10 variations with 10 pieces each, right? Dude, it sold out in less than a minute. In less than a minute. Like I couldn't even get one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've seen a few people that collect things like that.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah. Yeah, like Kid Robot, but like the market for these, I just didn't think it would happen. But man, they're like killing it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy.
collecting weekly figure. That's what you're saying.
I'm sorry?
We should do a collecting weekly one.
We already had one. It was my head sculpt.
Yeah.
Yeah. We bought it.
Yeah, that's because you didn't make one. We can't complete the set. We didn't finish the line, Dean.
Dude, we should all team up and make the figure.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, in terms of like Hot Toys and stuff like that, like, like everything is progression, right? Like in terms of like our collecting habits. Like, is there going to be a point where we stop collecting Hot Toys just because they're just really issuing a lot of head sculpts and figures, and they're just getting way too expensive now? Like, is there going to be a point like in time where people just kind of move on from Hot Toys?
Probably. I mean, I'm getting there. I mean, I ordered the Miles Morales purely because, I just want to make sure I have the best version of that character. But yeah, I mean, nothing has excited me in a long time for Hot Toys. I mean, the Mud Trooper was really good, but I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah, I got excited for the Cody, the Mandalorian, and then the Rex, and that was it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that I've been like, I need to own that.
Yeah. How about you, Optical?
You know what? Like I it's either we're gonna get tired or we're gonna get priced out of hot toys.
I would
Because
say sooner I'll be priced out.
I thought the bigger they get, the cheaper it would get. Because back then, when Clipper King, back in 2012, they're not mainstream, so you kind of understand why they are. It's limited quantity, but now it looks like it's mass produced. You would think that the prices would go down because it's like Honda and Ferrari. Ferrari, they only make certain numbers, so that's why they're expensive. And Honda's all over the place.
Good. That's a great point. Great point.
Yeah, but the more they produce, so that when I was like reviewing, I was like, okay, maybe if I review a lot and people buy it, it'll go mainstream, kind of like Marvel Legends, and it'll get cheaper because they can sell more. But they're just getting more and more expensive. So
Yeah.
I think I'm not gonna get tired of buying them, but I'm gonna get priced out buying them to a degree where it's like, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, perfect example is that Darth Vader Empire Strikes Back figure. What the hell's the difference between the last release to this one? I mean,
Okay.
besides
Inflation.
inflation. Damn.
They are doing that, right? The 40th anniversary one.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more expensive than inflation, but yeah, there is some
Doesn't
inflation.
it come with less or no?
Same
Yeah.
figure, different box.
Oh, okay.
But that's just for me. That's just a perfect example of like prices kind of going up, and like whether it be inflation or not, like dude, like everything's inflating. My wallet's not inflating. You know what I'm saying? Like, like
I like it when they say inflation, but the PlayStation game is still $60. It was $60 when it's PS3, and it's still $60 now. And I was kind of
producing a disc is like a penny to produce a Blu-ray disc.
but the engineers and the game designers, they pay them too. So
but you're also getting a DLC, and like, I mean, a $60 game in 2005 was a full complete game, and these days you're paying $60 for like an introduction to the game, and then you're spending another $100 at the time you buy the game for the 4 DLC packages that they already know what's in them, which means they already have some work done on them. That's bullshit.
Not only that, but if you buy the game digitally, it's not cheaper. You're not buying a disc.
But then again, you have the option not to buy those DLCs though.
Right.
So
Yeah, but if you don't, then you don't get a full game. What I'm saying is like, look at what's a good example here?
I don't think enough people complained about DLC, which is why we have that problem now. Which goes back to our original argument. If you see a problem, say some shit, or it's not going to be taken care of.
I agree. And look what happened with EA, right? Like with Battlefront 2. They went from like microtransactions to like free DLC, and then next thing you know, Battlefront is one of the best like Star Wars games ever made. You know?
Yeah, I mean, look at the level of story in the original Xbox Battlefront 2 versus the 18 Battlefront 2. I mean, there was a full campaign. There was like an active map system where you'd go through all these different star systems and do all these different battles. I mean, it was a really weak campaign, but there was a full thing that you could play through from a Clone Troopers first battle all the way into Death Star 2. I mean, it was a pretty lengthy campaign that went through so many different phases of the Star Wars universe. And then you get to Battlefront 2, which was like a 5-hour campaign. And like all that game was on the disc when you bought it. And then now it's like 2 years later, you finally.
Oh yeah, there was DLC for the campaign in Battlefront 2. You had to wait.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know if games are the best example to use for that, but
no, let's say not gaming, but let's say for Asmus. Here's what I'm saying about the hot toys, because DLC is optional. Do you get the full game? But maybe you enjoy just the base game, right? Like
a Mark 50 and then buying the accessory pack.
Exactly. So like with Asmus, they have this slim line, which is a huge difference.
I think that's a fantastic line. Yeah, we made that comparison with. I mean, because if you think about the Mark 50 is a $600 Iron Man, because you're buying the suit plus the actual accessories.
Yeah.
And
actually like $700 after tax and shipping.
Oh wow, that's smart of them. What else?
We called them out for that too. Like, this is BS that you're charging basically the price of another figure for this. This should have came with it. We're already paying a premium for this figure, and you're charging us on top of the premium. It's insane. And so far, I mean, not like they listen to us, but the community had a problem with it, and so far that hasn't happened again.
Yeah.
That I know of.
Yeah.
They do that with their deluxe version, but the price difference is so slim that you're kind of just forced to buy the deluxe version. Let's say the Captain Marvel, the difference is $23 for the cat, the jacket, and the 2 ray beams. If you make it like $50, then I would, I would think of picking up the let's say the slim version. I don't need those extra, let's
The
say I
thing
just
that
want Marvel, so
the thing that really bothers me is also like with Sideshow, they tend to do like an exclusive, but it's like one thing for like $5. It's like just throw it in for the first 250 people that are gonna pre-order it. They
I
did
agree.
it with Wolverine. They did it. I think they did it with Magneto. They do it with their statues, where you could buy the exclusive version for extra. I just think that's so weird, and it's not just Sideshow. A lot of statue companies do that, but I just think that's so odd to charge like just such an insignificant amount of money for an extra piece of material. It really bothers me.
Yeah, and I just want to know, like, with everything going on, right? Like, and as we progress through this whole pandemic, and more people lose their jobs, like, how many more people are going to stop collecting, just because they can't afford these expensive figures? And that's why, like, now's the time to be really critical with these companies, because yeah, people are going to be starting to be picky with what they purchase, because they can't afford everything, or most of it, or half of it, or even a quarter of it. So it's just one of those, like, dude, like, these are not $20 Marvel Legends. These are $250 figures. You got to bring your A game.
yeah, they gotta get called out. Let's say with they when prices keeps on going up, I guess if we just don't buy hot toys, like a lot of people won't eventually, because what an MMS now is 254, like a regular figure with taxes, that's almost $300. I mean, there's has to be like a breaking point, man.
Yeah, yeah, it's almost like, don't remind me of the taxes and like the shipping. The shipping from Sideshow is like ridiculous, like
It's stupid expensive considering they're down the street essentially.
yeah.
I think Mario said he literally lives down the street from them, like a few miles, and it cost him $30 to get his figure.
Yeah.
It's like he could literally drive over there and pick it up if they let him, but
Yeah.
no, they're gonna charge you shipping. It's insane.
If they do like a slim version, for example, Doctor Strange, like realistically, what do we do with those effects in the box or something? If they remove those effects, just put in 2 and make the figure 175, I'll be down with that instead
of Matt Mangum talked about that on his, what was he reviewing? He did an unboxing. I think maybe it was Dooku, because it had the lightning.
Yeah.
I think it was Dooku. And he said the same thing. Like, we're paying for accessories we're never going to use, except for like maybe a picture or 2. So if they sold a version of it where it was just the figure for cheaper, and if you wanted to get the accessories, you buy the exclusive or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're 100% right. Like, what do I do with all these accessories? Just
and they don't give you option. Kind of like I was about to pick up that Captain Marvel because I just have a credit with Big Bad, but the one that's available is the non-deluxe version. The difference is $23. Just like, dude, it's not even an option. It's like, I'm gonna pick up the one with a cat, even though I would never use the cat nor the jacket.
Did you pick it up yet?
No, luckily it's still on pre-order. This is one of those purchases where I know I'm gonna regret, because I'm not even a fan of Captain Marvel. But
well, I was gonna say, if you haven't purchased it yet, let me know. I have a guy that would probably hook you up. So.
Oh no, the only reason I was gonna do that is I got some credit with Big Bad.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they minimize these accessories, these pointless ones. Like you would probably use once or twice for photo op, and make it flat 220. I'll be down with that.
Yeah.
And the Spider-Man doesn't even have a head sculpt. It was just the biggest piece.
Oh, yeah.
$99, which is the biggest piece when you buy a hot toy, is because the head sculpt is realistic.
How much is that that homemade?
Well, just basing off the other Spider-Mans, I would say that would be $254.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's actually more expensive than the original one.
Because the Mark IV suit Oh, is it Mark IV? No, the Spider-Man that's kind of like holographic. That's kind of looks like Black Panther. When you put him on the UV light, it's
Yeah.
254. So
Zach, how much is the new homemade suit, Spidey?
Oh, it's
267.
267.
267.
Yeah, $47, $42
doesn't even have
more.
a head sculpt.
And you don't even get the head sculpt. You know,
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, obviously cheaper than paying the eBay prices, but man, still. You
Yeah.
know, like that's. I mean, that better be better be an awesome drone that it comes with. You know,
How much
Yeah.
do you think Hot Toys gets out of this? Like to make the figures, $50, maybe 30.
I don't know.
Because I know the Nikes cost them what, like $10. The Jordans,
Mhm.
they sell it for like $200. So the
So how much it costs Hot Toys to make a figure?
yeah, if I had to guess, maybe 50, 40.
Nah, way more than that. To make the figure, like you're talking someone sewing an outfit, licensing the head, producing the head.
Sculpting the head.
Yeah, but they mass produce too. So
You mean
know,
per
Yeah,
figure?
but you have
Like,
to pay. Like I think there was a with the John Lennon thing from several years ago, Molecule 8. I think K.A. Kim said she charges like the rumor was like $40,000 a head sculpt. And I mean,
She's
Hot
like the
Toys is
best
not
there is.
making like 40,000 figures. I mean, I imagine they're making maybe 10,000. So that's $40 a figure right there, or $4 a figure right there. But I mean, if once you add all those things together, I would say it probably costs them about $100, $150 to make it. No, about $100 to make a figure.
$100, yeah, I would say
per
100.
figure?
Per figure, and that's them making, you know, $80 to $100 selling it in Hong Kong, and then they probably charge Sideshow, because I know what Steven pays to buy a figure from Sideshow approximately.
Yeah.
And there's a certain profit margin there per figure from the retail price that we pay versus what he pays. So if you think that Hot Toys is selling it to Sideshow and Sideshow's getting Hot Toys is making that same profit margin, I think it's about $100 for a $250 figure.
You know, it's crazy. I had a friend that worked at a comic book store here in town, and I always complained to her that the Hot Toys were too expensive. Because sometimes they're like $70 over retail, and she's like, "Well, we pay what you pay,
Big
so
mark.
we don't. We don't get the discount, so we have to make a profit on top of the retail price, which is why it's so high." And then I find out that's a fucking lie. You're not paying what we pay.
she can apply for a reseller wholesale at Sideshow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as you got a store.
Yeah. But besides that, thanks for having me.
Optical,
Yeah.
Real quick, mute your mic. I want to see if that. I keep hearing the interference, but
I keep going with you. I'm
okay.
sure it's him.
Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure for our show on Tuesday. Like, I'm like, what the fuck did I change on my desk? Optical, you're good. You're good.
All right.
Is it me?
No, it's
No.
Optical.
No, it's probably me. It's probably
Yeah,
me.
dude, I was like freaking out this whole show. Like, dude, did I fuck something up? Like, looking at all my wires and shit. No, you're cool. Yeah, it was a really good show, Optical. I promised my wife
Alrighty.
I'd head to bed here in a little bit though. But
Cool.
All right,
DJ, thanks for
Thanks for having
joining.
us on, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for
PJ,
having. Yeah,
you're
thanks for,
amazing.
oh, thanks, Dean. I
Love
appreciate
you,
it.
PJ.
Love you
I know,
guys.
He's such a good guy.
All right,
Hang
And
on.
this is like
Scale
another.
Economist says, how much do you think wholesaler shops get Hot Toys from Sideshow? I know it is much more than 20%, but not sure how much. Let me do some math real quick.
Real quick, I just want to say, because of not just Zach and my podcast, but as the community as a whole, it's just cool getting to like talk to PJ, the Paradox Nerd, on Optical 20. Like,
Oh, thanks, man.
I mean, what?
I love
2
your
years
show.
ago, like you didn't even know I existed. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
it's just cool.
Six-Cell Economist says it's much more than 20%. I think the markup from Sideshow to the store, from what I've heard from one store that orders like a certain number of figures, it could be different if the store is ordering 10 million figures a year, like a billion figures a year. Like I'm sure Big Bad Toy Store probably gets it a little bit cheaper. It's something like a 25% markup from Sideshow to the store. So if they price it at retail, wait, did I say that right?
yeah.
If they price it at retail, they're making a 25% profit. I guess if that makes sense.
Not bad.
if the store is selling it at retail, they're still making a 25% profit.
20 to 25% profit.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I was
Because
gonna
when I told Steven, I asked him, and he's like, I can't give you the particular number, but he's like, we are not hurting selling it at retail.
Yeah, I always thought that was odd because, like I said, I was told that the stores buy it at retail. That Hot Toys doesn't make enough of these things for them to get a discount. So
Yeah.
when Steven started selling them at retail, I was like, dude, I feel bad because
Like, are we ripping
he
you
must
off?
be like not making money every time he sells one. But apparently, we were just lied to our whole lives.
Yeah. So again, I mean, don't quote that number, but
that's the right number. Yeah.
yeah, from what I heard from my guy, like there is profit to be made buying it from Sideshow at that price and selling it at retail. So if your local comic store is charging you a lot more, obviously stores have overhead or whatever, but they're probably not paying the retail price that you're paying.
Yeah. So if they tell you that, they're lying. Oh, DJ said he was going to check us out. Thanks,
I'm in
man.
my own personal hell. I changed my boom arm just a little bit, and I'm
Six
trying to
scale
dial it back
economist.
in. Jesus Christ.
6 scale economist.
Yeah,
that's
thanks,
cool,
Six
man.
Scale Economist, for tuning in. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It was a pretty lively chat.
Yeah.
Six Scale says, I actually talked to Sideshow about getting a wholesale license. They actually don't give places a larger discount even if you order more. Also, one thing to know, Economist, is it really depends on where you live, because Steven's Collectibles could not get in, even though he was like he'd been open for like a year, 2 years, 3 years. He had, like accounts with everybody. They would not give him the ability to sell Hot Toys because, and I quote, the market was saturated in our area. There was too many stores in our area that were wholesalers that Sideshow would not give him the wholesaler account. And it wasn't until they changed those guidelines that he was able to get in. So I think they either loosened them up or realized that he was actually technically in a different city. But in our city, there's like 8 stores that sell Hot Toys, and they wouldn't add him to that list because there was already, it's like a distance thing, like how many stores per square mile that you can have.
Is there
that sell
really
Hot Toys.
8?
There's 2 Alien Worlds, 2 Heroes. Gravity Damage has an account.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about gravity damage.
And then I mean,
If
it
you
might
prob-
be 5.
if
Well,
they-
there's
if-
a lot of stores.
If there's
But then
if
also
there-
Think Geeks.
yeah, I was gonna say if there's any that's selling a Mud Trooper, I would love to get another one just because yeah.
Dude,
I want one to display with the head sculpt on and one with the helmet on. So
who got 2? I could have sworn you got 2 already.
Optical. Do you mind?
I
if,
wish
if
I had
we,
two.
If we rip this audio and put it on our feed?
Oh
as
no.
well?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sweet. I will do that tomorrow then.
cool.
Yeah, thanks a
All
lot.
right, guys. All right. Before we wrap up,
All
you guys want to tell them your channel and when you're going to be next?
Yeah, PJ, go ahead.
Oh, sure. So yeah, I'm PJ the Paradox Nerd. I don't even know what my channel is
It's your
about.
boy.
It's your boy. So I do a lot of like Hot Toys, statues, mostly Star Wars stuff, but I've been kind of like Marvel's my second favorite IP. So I've been kind of like reviewing a lot of Marvel stuff too. So in terms of stuff I got a couple Endgame figures that I'm going to review and put it out pretty soon. I do have that Queen Studios 1/3 scale Joker. I don't usually review DC stuff on my channel, but I love the Heath Ledger Joker. I've always been wanting a Heath Ledger Joker ever since I saw Optical's review, and because Optical, yeah, you got the you still have it, right?
DX11?
Yeah.
Wait, who is 6 Scale Economist? Real quick, just drop your name. I'm so curious. He said he knows Steven. He just did a big purchase with him recently.
Oh, nice.
I want to know who you are.
Yeah.
I just put Paradox Nerds link in the chat
Yeah. Thanks.
just in case.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
put
so-
in the link description too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dean and I run Collecting Weekly. We do like 9 different shows on our channel, but the main show is Collecting Weekly. So it's obviously the weekly show where Dean and I talk about the things that mattered the most to us every week in collecting. And we talk Hot Toys, figure arts,
Pretty much.
Robotech,
Yeah,
Robotech, as they say on the show. Pretty much anything that interests us. But we also have comic shows. We have horror podcasts, geek lifestyle stuff. Yeah, it's just a great variance of shows that we have. Yeah, our next show is going to be Tuesday at 8:30 Central Standard Time. So
Yeah. Let me know when you guys do if you guys want me as a guest for the horror podcast. Creeps are us, right?
For us, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
let
You have
me
to
know.
get with Manny. We'll definitely have to get with Manny because we'd love to have you. So,
I got
um,
some stories
yeah.
to tell you guys.
6 scale economists. We need to know who you are. I'm just very curious now.
Yo,
So
Alfred in the chat, I bought a book from Alfred today.
yeah, actually, Dean, PayPal me that money so I can shoot Alfred the money in the morning for Manny's thing. We treat Manny too nice, man. I'm telling you.
Did he even know what we did?
No, should we tell him that we got him something? Or nah?
Nah.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we can kick it off. Yeah, economist, chat me on Facebook. Yes, it's mind if I chat you on Facebook? Yeah, it's I don't know. I'll drop my name in the comments. Or actually optical. No, let me see. How do I get to the comments? I'm not used to running StreamYard from not the host perspective, so
How do I do that?
You actually have to go to the YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll drop my name in the chat and then message me. Right. Hang on. Let me shop it in the chat.
PJ, I gotta set up something for you too. If you're down to wake up early
Uh-oh.
for our
Sure.
peeps, for our peeps.
Oh yeah, man. Let me know.
Because I was talking to somebody in Pinoy 1/6, and we can do a live stream, but their time.
Yeah, just let me know. That would be like what 8.
8 in the morning.
Yeah.
9 for
It would be best on the weekends though. So
Yeah.
I could do it.
I'm still like
I just have to get some coffee.
we'll probably have to get Mila and somebody else. So
Oh, yeah.
I collect weekly on PayPal.
so
What? No, it's just a regular PayPal.
But my email for you on here is at collecting weekly.
No, it's Zach. No, I'm not gonna drop my email in this fucking live show. You know what my email is.
I guess
We send emails all the time.
send
no.
nudes.
I sent you my peen on the email. It was in 3 pictures because I just split it up. The file size is too big. All right, I'll catch y'all later.
All right,
Alrighty.
guys.
Have a
Alright,
curse.
have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.